Good morning. We begin NASA television coverage of mission STS-69 here at the John F. Kennedy Space Center in Florida. We're just hours away from the 71st Space Shuttle launch and the 9th flight of the orbiter Endeavour with a crew of 5 astronauts. Liftoff is planned at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time, which is the opening of a 2.5-hour launch window. The window extends for 2.5 hours today until 1:39 p.m. Eastern Time. Weather conditions indicate we have a 40% chance of having acceptable conditions for our launch. We do have a concern about having clouds in the area over central Florida and the possibility of showers. Launch Pad 39A is the stage for the 5th shuttle launch for this year. All countdown events are on schedule, and the launch team here in Firing Room 1 is not tracking any technical issues at this time. All crew members are awake and preparing for today's launch. The STS-69 commander is Navy Captain David Walker. He's making his 4th trip into space. Two-time shuttle flyer and Navy reservist Ken Cockrell is the pilot for the mission. The 3 mission specialists are Army Colonel James Voss, who is serving as payload commander and making his 3rd flight. Shuttle rookie Mike Gernhardt, who holds a PhD in bioengineering, is a mission specialist. And also James Newman, who has a PhD in physics, is making his 2nd trip into space. Mission specialists Gernhardt and Voss are scheduled to perform a 6-hour spacewalk on Flight Day 10 to broaden NASA's experience base for building and maintaining the space station and collecting information for future spacewalks. While in the 60-foot-long payload bay and from the end of the robot arm, Voss and Gernhardt will evaluate and verify specific assembly and maintenance tasks for the space station. In addition, they will evaluate modifications made to spacesuits that will protect spacewalkers from becoming too cold, and they will evaluate an electronic cuff checklist device that is worn on the wrist. One of the primary objectives of the flight is to deploy and retrieve the Wake Shield facility, which is a 12-foot diameter saucer-shaped disc. During its free flight, thin semiconductor films for the next generation of advanced electronics will be grown on the Wake Shield in the ultra-vacuum environment that it creates. Another mission highlight is the deployment and retrieval of the Spartan 201 free flyer. Spartan will observe the interaction between the sun and its outflowing wind of charged particles. Endeavour will be launched into an orbit inclined 28.45 degrees to the equator and at an altitude of about 200 nautical miles. Endeavour's scheduled 11-day mission will be concluding with a landing at Kennedy Space Center on September 18th. Landing is planned here at Kennedy. The whole mission is scheduled 10 days, 20 hours, and about 29 minutes. Crew has been up. They've already had breakfast, and they've had some free time this morning. They will be sitting down for a snack prior to launch today, and we will be getting some live pictures of the crew in their quarters at the Operations and Checkout building. We're scheduled to get those live pictures at about 6:44 a.m. today. Meanwhile, out at the launch pad, the closeout crew is in the White Room making preparation for the crew's arrival. And the final inspection team is out at the launch pad going up and down the launch tower making their final inspection of the vehicle. Those are the only 2 crews out at the launch pad. The tanking activity went on schedule this morning. Tanking began fairly early, about half an hour early, about 2:21 a.m. And tanking was completed about 5:12 or 5:15 a.m. this morning. Again, the launch team not tracking any problems at this time. The countdown went into a built-in hold at the T-minus 3-hour mark just about 15 minutes ago. This is a planned built-in hold, and it will be for 2 hours. We're at T-minus 3 hours and holding. This is shuttle launch control. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours and holding.
Foxtrot 8.
All continue to go well with the external tank fully loaded with its flight load of propellants, 500,000 gallons of liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen propellant. The ICE team, the final inspection team, is out at the 0 level. They're on the mobile launcher platform, making their final inspection of the vehicle. This is a routine operation for this team. We've got about 5 members of the team. They wear bright orange coveralls and complete their job in the matter of about an hour, and then they report their findings back to management here in the Launch Control Center. Also, we've got the closeout crew out at the White Room making preparations for the flight crew. The flight crew arrived here in Florida on Tuesday at about 4:30 p.m. They touched down at the shuttle landing facility in their T-38 jet, and Commander David Walker made a few comments to some reporters. We'll listen to those comments here on the tape replay.
Sir, I need to verify that the fuel cell contacts for fuel cell ready to load.
And since the crew has been here in Florida, they've been busy reviewing flight data files and getting a status on the condition of the vehicle and the payloads, and also, of course, weather conditions here in Florida. Crew, of course, was here last week for our launch attempt. Launch was postponed when we had a problem with a fuel cell, the number 2 fuel cell inside the orbiter Endeavour. That fuel cell has been replaced and retested and is ready for flight.
At 154 amps.
That work was completed over the Labor Day holiday.
Verify those in the cockpit as well.
Again, the fueling went very smoothly this morning. There were no problems. Things have gone very, very smooth on our count this morning, and since we began it at about 4:30 p.m. on Monday. We will be playing some live activities with the flight crew this morning, just to kind of recap what you will be able to view this morning. The crew will be having a snack at about 6:44 a.m. Eastern Time. Then they'll go into their weather briefing to get the latest update on conditions here in Florida. That will happen at about 7:15 Eastern Time. Then we'll get some live shots of the crew getting into their flight suits. That will come at about 7:25 this morning. They will depart for the launch pad at about 7:54 a.m. and arrive at the White Room out at the launch pad at 8:25 a.m. At that time, we'll get live pictures of the crew getting into their the last few components of their suits, and as they crawl through the hatch to get in to take their assigned seats in the shuttle.
APD verifies 291.
Thank you, and F on Oscar 13.
All is going well in the count, continuing to hold at T-minus 3 hours. This is a planned built-in hold. Total hold time is 2 hours. We've got about 30 minutes into the hole. We've got about an hour and a half left. At T-minus 3 hours in holding, this is shuttle launch control. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours in holding. We've got about an hour and 9 minutes remaining in our built-in hold here at this T-minus 3 hour mark. All countdown events are on schedule for our planned launch of Endeavour at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. We're standing by now to get live pictures of the flight crew having a snack prior to their launch today. Those live pictures will be coming from the crew quarters at the operations and checkout building.
I'll know if we need to do a contingency in about 9 minutes.
Since the countdown began, the launch team has completed several tasks, major tasks, to get ready for today's launch. On Tuesday, the power reactant storage and distribution system tanks were loaded with the liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen reactants. That activity is one of the major tasks in the countdown. Also, the external tank was loaded with the liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen propellant. That propellant will be feeding the main engines during the 8.5 minutes or so that they will be running to in the ascent portion of the flight to get the orbiter into the intended orbit for the STS-69 mission. The weather forecast for today indicates that we've got 40% chance of having acceptable conditions. Launch controllers and mission controllers are keeping a close eye out on the conditions in the Central Florida area. We do have concern of having clouds and possible rain in the Central Florida area during during the time of our launch window today. Hurricane Luis, from all indications, indicate that we do not have a problem with our launch today. Because of that hurricane, it is way away from the Kennedy Space Center and is not projected to turn and come toward the Space Center.
Starting with 260, the next 6 steps are not performed.
Also, during the last couple of days, all of the mid-deck experiments involving time-critical experiments have been reloaded into the Endeavour mid-deck. That was about 5 or 6 lockers and consisted of many specimens that will be exposed to the microgravity environment of space. We do have 2 COLAs today, collision avoidances. These are some times when we would not be able to launch the space shuttle to avoid making contact with or coming into the range of another orbiting spacecraft. At this time I do not have what the spacecraft is, but those times for the COLAs would be 12:10 p.m. Eastern Time to 12:12 p.m. Eastern Time. Second COLA comes at 1:47 p.m. and goes until 1:49 p.m. Again, we do have 2 COLAs for today during the launch period. They are at 12:10 p.m. to 12:12 p.m. and 1:47 p.m. to 1:49 p.m. Those are all in Eastern times. Just a couple minutes now, for the next 5 or 10 minutes, we should be getting pictures of the flight crew having a snack before breakfast. We'll be standing by for those pictures.
We're going to go ahead and
we're at T-minus 3 hours and holding. This is shuttle launch control.
Current spike. Copy.
This is shuttle launch control. We now have the STS-69 flight crew.
It is on the TACAM multi-band verification and first up to 25-427.
He's flying for the first time today. He'll be one of the EVA crewmen. Jim Voss, also one who will be performing an EVA. Commander David Walker, flying for the 4th time. Pilot Ken Cockrell. And Mission Specialist Jim Newman, flying for the 2nd time today. You'll notice the crew has dog food bowls in front of them. They've dubbed themselves the Dog Crew, and they've had a lot of fun with that title. And each of them have a dog name, and this is just a fun thing that the crew's decided to do. The cake in the center of the table, traditional cake, has the STS-69 emblem. The insignia reflects the multifaceted objectives of the mission. We've got more than 60 experiments and pieces of hardware to be tested, covering almost every scientific discipline on this flight. Crew will be leaving the operations and checkout building inside the Astro van. Their departure is coming up at about 7:54 a.m., almost 8 o'clock this morning. The crew, of course, we'll have a weather briefing before that, and we'll have the suit-up pictures live to bring you that activity. When the crew does their weather briefing, we will lose the satellite here for a minimal amount of time while the crew uses that to talk with the mission controllers in Houston. During that briefing, the crew will be getting an update on conditions here in Florida, also at Edwards Air Force Base in California, the abort once around site. Also, the transoceanic abort sites in Africa, the weather conditions will be reviewed for those sites as well. This will give the crew a total weather picture for conditions at every location that might be possible for them today. And we're hopeful about conditions here in Florida to permit a launch sometime during our 2.5-hour window, which opens at 11:09 a.m. We've got about 1 minute remaining in our built-in, 1 hour remaining in our built-in hold at the T-minus 3 hour mark. Launch team not tracking any problems. Team is preparing for the flight crew's arrival out at the pad, making sure everything is on schedule and no problems exist.
It's all console steps.
Okay, yeah, the QC just had some questions for you.
team members are monitoring
Okay,
their
which channel
consoles,
are they on?
which give them information
Which
about
one
the
you want?
vital
You
signs
want,
on every
133 or
system
165?
on the shuttle.
155.
If any one of
Okay,
the
what's the name over there?
parameters would fall out of it, the specification or a predetermined parameter, the launch controllers would bring that to the attention of the NASA test director, who is Bill Dowdell today. And management team would evaluate that situation. However, we've not had any problems to report this morning. Everything is on schedule, no technical issues. Sun's just beginning to rise over the Central Florida area.
OTC, CGNC.
Just a few minutes ago,
Go ahead,
the
Ken.
flight crew
Taking
did
up
make a
performance
phone
on step
call to
306.
NASA test director
Okay,
Bill
305.
Dowdell, thanking the whole
We've done
KSC
the gyro
processing
compass
team
on
for
RG.
a
We're
good
still in
job that
GA1.
they've
The
done in
sequence is still
replacing
open.
and retesting
Okay,
the fuel
up
cell,
306.
and also getting the orbiter back into launch configuration, making the vehicle and all of the facility activities associated with preparing for launch happen for today. And crew's looking forward to an on-time launch at 11:09. T-minus 3 hours and holding. This is shuttle launch
Nothing
control.
significant. I got a couple open steps if you want to take a look at the procedure and see what's still open.
This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours and holding. And we are going to be turning the satellite over to the flight crew quarters so that they can conduct a weather briefing. We will be losing the satellite, but we will continue to have pictures and audio here at Kennedy Space Center, and we'll continue to have audio on the satellite. And when we return to Kennedy Space Center, we will be getting the flight crew suiting up and getting ready to go out to the launch pad. That weather briefing will consist of the commander, the pilot, and mission specialist 2. Again, they'll be getting an overall comprehensive picture of weather conditions here in Florida, California, and in Africa to give them the latest up-to-date information. All activities are continuing on schedule. No technical issues are being tracked by the launch team. The closeout crew is continuing to prepare the orbiter crew module for the flight crew's entry. The final inspection team has completed their assessment out at the launch pad, and they'll be returning to the Launch Control Center and will make a report to management. So the only team out at the pad right now is the closeout crew. And again, preparing the crew module for the orbiters, or for the flight crew entry. T-minus 3 hours and holding. This is shuttle launch control. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours and holding. All is continuing to be very quiet here in the firing room 1 at the Launch Control Center. Meanwhile, the flight crew is preparing for their weather briefing with mission controllers in Houston. The solid rocket booster recovery ships are standing by in the Atlantic Ocean about 140 nautical miles east of Kennedy Space Center. The Freedom Star and Liberty Star ships departed from Cape Canaveral yesterday, and they are performing an electronic visual search of the impact area to ensure that the area is clear of shipping. At about T-minus 2 hours, the ships will be located 7.5 miles from the predicted impact points of the solid motors. The boosters are jettisoned about 2 minutes after liftoff and impact the ocean about 7 minutes after launch. Recovery operations take about 5 hours. The divers aboard the ships configure the boosters for the tow back to Hangar AF. The motor segments will be disassembled and shipped back to the Thiokol plant in Utah for refurbishment. The aft skirts and forward frustums are refurbished by USBI at their facility located here at Kennedy Space Center. We've got about 30 minutes remaining in our built-in hold. We're at T-minus 3 hours and holding. This is shuttle launch control. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours and holding. We've now got pictures back live on the satellite at Launch Pad 39A here at Kennedy Space Center. The flight crew has just been given a briefing by all of the weather forecasters indicating the conditions here in Florida, California, and also in Africa at the TAL sites. It appears today that the TAL site with the best weather would be Ben Guerir. Wayne Hale, the flight director in Houston, was in touch with the flight crew, giving them information. And he and launch controllers will continue to monitor those conditions here in Florida. And all hopeful that we will have a chance during the 2.5-hour window today to launch STS-69. The window opens at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. To check out actual conditions here at Kennedy Space Center, we have astronaut Bob Cabana. He will be flying for about an hour in the T-38 aircraft, starting at about launch minus 2.5 hours. Then he will land the T-38 at the shuttle landing facility at about launch minus 1 hour and 30 minutes, and then he'll take off in the shuttle training aircraft and remain aloft through launch. Astronaut John Casper is the weather coordinator in the operations support room here in Fire Room 1. He will be in communication with Bob Cabana, and they'll be giving information to the mission management team. Chairman today is Lauren Shriver. The whole team has reported on station here in the firing room. The countdown has been fairly quiet this morning. We were not tracking any problems. The only issue the team will be tracking closely today is weather. The next pictures we expect to receive would be at the flight crew quarters again. We'll be getting the astronauts as they get into their flight crew equipment, their bright orange launch and entry suits. Some of the crew members are already getting into their suits, and the commander, pilot, and mission specialist too will be getting into theirs next. At T-minus 3 hours and holding, this is shuttle launch control. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours and holding. We now have the flight crew getting into their launch and entry suits. Commander David Walker. Commander's just been briefed on weather conditions here in Florida and at the TAL sites. He has overall responsibility for commanding the flight, and his primary job is to oversee and coordinate all mission activities. Pilot Ken Cockrell, he will assist the commander in the oversight of the orbiter systems and vehicle maneuvers as required by the payload during this flight. Crew does need assistance getting into their gear. It's quite cumbersome, and the checks are made. The suit technicians make checks of the suits to make sure they're functioning properly. They fill the suits with air to make sure there are no leaks, and perform a test. I believe this is Mission Specialist Mike Gernhardt making his first flight today. He's designated as one of the spacewalkers on the mission. On the other side of the room, we've got the rest of the crew. Mission Specialist Jim Voss. He's designated as one of the EVA crew members. He's also payload commander on this flight. He's responsible for all of the diverse payload operations going on for STS-69. And we have Mission Specialist James Newman. Is Jim Voss posing with one of the suit technicians. Mission Specialist Newman flying for the second time today. He will be operating the remote manipulator system. He's signifying he's ready to go for STS-69. Also in the crew suit-up room was astronaut Bob Cabana, who will be flying in the T-38 and the shuttle training aircraft later this morning, checking out actual conditions for the weather here in Florida. Crew is scheduled to be leaving the operations and checkout building in about 20 minutes or so. All of the communication systems and headset gear inside of their spaces are checked out to make sure they're operating properly before the crew heads out to the launch pad. Meanwhile, the support personnel are continuing to configure the orbiter's crew module for the flight crew's arrival. Astronaut Joe Tanner has been essential and as part of the astronaut support personnel team this morning, along with Marsha Ivins. Joe Tanner has been in the crew module this morning, configuring the switches and the crew module for launch. Commander and pilot will continue that activity once they arrive, and they are scheduled to arrive at the White Room at about 8:24 this morning. And of course, those two will be the first to enter the orbiter's crew module. All continuing to go smooth in our countdown. Things are quiet here in the firing room. That signifies that the team is not tracking any problems. We've got about 10.5 minutes left in our built-in hold here at the T-minus 3-hour mark. This is shuttle launch control. This is shuttle launch control. The countdown clock has now resumed counting at the T-minus 3-hour mark. Proceeding on with our launch count, leading up to a planned opening of our window at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time.
PLE verifies LCC.
Continuing to be a very quiet countdown with the procedures and the activities outlined in the countdown procedure being checked off per the countdown clock.
CMPL.
We're standing by to get live pictures of the astronauts at their crew quarters as they leave and board the astronaut van to go out to the launch pad.
ECL verifies. DVD. DVD verifies. SCP. SCP verifies. CGSF. That's verified. CWR.
The launch team now is verifying that they have no launch commit criteria constraints and that they do have no problems at all. Do not have any problems with the flight crew arriving out at the pad.
ISO verifies.
This is a standard routine check that the NASA test director and orbiter test conductor do as whole of the team.
GPS verified. CODF.
The orbiter test conductor today is Roger Gillette. The NASA test director is Bill Dowdell. At T-minus 2 hours, 58 minutes and counting, this is shuttle launch control. With the shuttle launch control, we've got the STS-69 flight crew getting ready to depart the operations and checkout building. Astronaut Crew Chief David Leesma and astronaut Bob Cabana are also in the elevator with the flight crew. They'll be going down to the first floor and boarding the astronaut van that's already parked and ready for the crew.
We're getting close. They're heading down the hall right now.
Crew has completed training at the Johnson Space Center in Houston to prepare for the flight.
Thank you.
And the two that have been trained for the spacewalk did get the training in the WEDF there in Houston. We have Commander David Walker and pilot Ken Cockrell. And the crew's now in the astronaut van. Sound like a couple of bark-like sounds, symbolic of the crew who've dubbed themselves the Dog Crew. Crew will be heading out to launch pad 39A to board the Space Shuttle Endeavour for the STS-69 launch.
Yes, sir. You did say
Scheduled for 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. All countdown events are on schedule. Launch team is not tracking any problems. The only thing that the team is going to keep a close eye on for the next couple of hours as we press on would be the weather conditions here in Central Florida. Got a chance of having some clouds in the area, also possibility of rain showers. Got a 40% chance of having acceptable conditions during our 2.5-hour launch window today. It'll take about 20 minutes for the crew to arrive out at the launch pad, and once they are there, the crew will be boarding the the crew module.
Okay,
The closeout crew will assist the crew getting in. The whole activity will take somewhere around an hour or hour and a half. We'll hear some information from the crew themselves and some video clips that we have during that time that they are boarding the space shuttle. But our next event would be, we've got a tape replay of the processing flow here at Kennedy Space Center. This was the payload activity that occurred over the last few months here at Kennedy Space Center.
The flight crew is departing the ONC at this time en route to the pad. All console operators, please.
The Spartan 201 payload, and here it is in OPF Bay 1.
That could affect the flight crew or the closeout.
This is the third flight of the Spartan 201 instruments. The crew came to KSC to perform the sharp edge inspection. This is a routine activity while the orbiter is still in the processing facility. One of the things happens is the crew becomes familiar with the equipment that is stowed on board the shuttle and gets an actual look at the flight hardware. Crew will ride in the, what do we call, cherry pickers. It's just an access platform that moves, allows the crew to get a good look and a closer look at things. Jim Voss and Mike Gernhardt will be performing the spacewalk. They're looking at some of the tools and equipment that they'll use
we're complete.
During the spacewalk.
409 through 412.
This happened in early June here at Kennedy Space Center, again while Endeavour was in the orbiter processing facility. The capillary pump loop getaway special bridge assembly was also prepared here at Kennedy. This is an in-orbit demo of the full-scale capillary pump loop system planned for the Earth observing system. This will verify heat transport requirements of the thermal control system that is under design for the Earth observing system. The thermal energy storage experiment is also part of this payload. That will validate a computer code that will be used in the analysis of heat receivers in advanced solar dynamic power system designs. The International Extreme Ultraviolet Hitchhiker that we're looking at now will monitor long-term variations in the magnitude of absolute extreme ultraviolet flux coming from the Sun and from the plasma torus system around Jupiter, originating from its moon, Io. The Hitchhiker assembly was loaded into the payload canister at the payload processing facility. The canister was then transported out to be installed inside the shuttle. Here we have a view of the Space Shuttle Endeavour being towed out of the processing facility over to the vehicle assembly building. That occurred on June 28th. The tow is just several hundred yards from the orbiter processing facility. This is a view from inside the OPF. There we have the shuttle going into the vehicle assembly building. It's mounted on the orbiter transporter. Then after the orbiter was moved into the VAB, it was hoisted high above the transom and mated to the external tank and solid rocket boosters. The Wake Shield facility is a 12-foot diameter stainless steel disc, and it's designed to generate an ultra-vacuum environment in space so that thin films can be grown. Those films can be potentially used for advanced electronics. This is the second in a series of 4 flights planned for the Wake Shield. This is one of the primary objectives of the flight. This is the second flight of the Wake Shield. Corrections were made to the Wake Shield's attitude control system following its last flight in last February. During that flight, several thin films were grown while the Wake Shield was attached to the shuttle's robot arm. However, we did have some minor water contamination from the shuttle that interfered with the ultra-vacuum environment. You see the Wake Shield installed in the payload canister. Orbiters rolled out to the pad around July 6th, shortly after the holidays. and the payloads were installed at the launch pad shortly after. We did roll the shuttle back to the vehicle assembly building in early August for Hurricane Erin, and we rolled back out to the pad the following week, where we made repairs to the solid rocket boosters. Payloads as installed.
488 through 490
the orbital payload bay, leading up to today's scheduled liftoff of Endeavour on mission STS-69 at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time.
Okay, copy. I thought you already
All is going very quietly in our launch countdown. That signifies we've got no technical issues that the team is tracking. Again, weather is the only consideration at this time, and we're hopeful we will have an on-time launch today, or would be able to go sometime within our 2.5-hour launch window. We do have 2 collision avoidances today. The times for those COLAs, and we don't have exactly what the possible interference would be, but the times are at 12:10 to 12:12 p.m. Eastern Time, and at 1:47 to 1:49 p.m. Eastern Time. And those are times, both 2-minute intervals, where we would not be able to launch the shuttle because we could be coming into the zone of another orbiting spacecraft of some sort. T-minus 2 hours, 43 minutes and counting. This is Shuttle Launch Control. This is Shuttle Launch Control. We've got the Astro van now, dropped off a couple of team members here at the Launch Control Center. The Astro van is now, of course, headed out to Launch Pad 39A, just passing the Vehicle Assembly Building and Launch Control Center. About another 3 miles to the launch pad. This view is taken from a camera on the Vehicle Assembly Building roof. The only team out at the pad now is the closeout crew, just a few members. The tank is fully loaded, and we have the minimal amount of people necessary at the pad to prepare the vehicle for launch today while the tank is loaded. The external tank loading activity was started about 30 minutes ahead of schedule. That whole operation went very smoothly and was completed about 5:15 this morning. We'll expect to have live pictures of the crew as they arrive at the launch pad and get into the crew module.
When the flight crew arrives, you can proceed with the
we'll have
crew
some
ingress
brief
operation.
video clips of
Copy.
thoughts, that reflections of the mission that the crew had, and we'll play those as each of the crew members enters the orbiter's crew module. This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 2 hours, 41 minutes and counting. This is Shuttle Launch Control. The STS-69 crew has now arrived at the 195-foot level at Pad 39A. Mission Specialist Jim Newman now taking a picture of the rest of the crew. The crew will be walking across the orbiter access arm to get to the white room, which leads to the crew module. Again, it's very quiet here in the firing room. The launch team not tracking any technical issues. Weather conditions are very, very nice at the current time. And the concern is that as the temperatures heat up, that would cause some cloudiness and possible rain in the area. We're hoping that that condition would happen after we launch the shuttle today. Commander David Walker and pilot Kent Cockrell will be the first two to enter the crew module. They'll be configuring the orbiter for launch this morning. This is the room where this is the only activity going on out at the launch pad. The whole pad has been cleared of all non-essential personnel. There is an emergency. The crew closeout team will fall back to an emergency response area in case they needed to go back into the launch pad area.
OTC, OVCC.
Emergency
Go ahead.
situation.
Flight crew has arrived,
They
and
will
crew
be
ingress is
departing
in work
the
at this time.
pad after
Copy
the
it. That's 511.
crew hatch has been locked and sealed. That activity is scheduled
And all
for about
personnel flight crew ingress
9:39
proceeding at
this
this
morning.
time. Monitor console displays, 512.
Commander David Walker now being assisted with the remainder of his flight crew equipment, and he has overall responsibility for the STS-69 mission. He recently described how the crew will deploy the Wake Shield facility, which is one of the primary payloads in the shuttle's payload bay. Commander Walker will be sitting in the front left seat of the shuttle at the commander's seat. And again, he will be the first to go in there. Once he takes his seat, the clock begins for the crew on back time. That's about 2.5 hours that the crew would be allowed to remain on their backs before we would postpone the launch for the flight crew fatigue. However, it is their call if they wanted to stay in the crew module another few minutes or so if we had to wait for weather to clear, but really won't be an issue today since our launch window is 2.5 hours long. Pilot Ken Cockrell is now being assisted with his flight suit. He will assist Commander David Walker in the complex and delicate maneuvers Endeavour must make during the deploy, rendezvous, and retrieval operations of the Wake Shield facility and the Spartan 201 platform. In this next segment, Cockrell outlines the sequence of events for these activities.
CGNC, OTC. Go ahead. Yes, steps 5, 15, 16, and 17. Yes, 5, 15, and 16 will be not performed, and 17 in work in about 2 minutes. Okay, we'll give you a go-ahead for 5, 17 by the clock then. Copy. Also 18? 18 can pick up right after that. Copy.
That was pilot Ken Cockrell making his second flight today. He was just describing activities that he'll be busy with during the flight, during the Spartan deploy and retrieve. Now that the crew has boarded some of the crew members have boarded the shuttle, we will be hearing them making checks with the launch controllers here in Florida and also with flight controllers in Houston. Some of the voices you'll be hearing would be NASA Test Director Bill Dowdell, Orbiter Test Conductor Roger Gillette, and Flight Director in Houston is Wayne Hale. We did hear a report just a while ago from the solid rocket booster recovery ship. They are heading out to be on station. They should be on station in about 30 minutes, some 140 miles due east of Kennedy Space Center. And they're reporting about 8 to 9 foot swells out on the ocean. Things are about as we expected and predicted during yesterday's weather forecast. Pilot Cockrell is from Austin, Texas. He worked as an aerospace engineer and research pilot at Ellington Field in Houston prior to becoming an astronaut. He was selected to become an astronaut in 1990.
OTC, CGNC. Go ahead. Yes, I can give you 519. Copy that. DPS and ISO, OTC. DPS. ISO. Step 521, perform the GMT and MET adjustment for volume 4, channel 152. DPS copies. OTC, I'll need a CMQC 152. CMQC, OTC.
Copy 152.
OTC, CGNC. Go ahead, CGNC. Yes, I'd like to get CMQC over on 141. CMQC, OTC.
Copy 141.
OTC, CDR. How you doing this morning, Roger?
Dave, I read you loud and clear. How am I? I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
You are loud and clear. NTD CDR, how you doing, Bill?
Dave, I'm doing just fine. I'll read you loud and clear. Good morning.
Good morning. Houston Endeavor CDR. Good morning, Eileen.
Good morning, Dave. We read you loud and clear in Houston. How me?
Loud and clear, and the weather looks great right now.
Roger that.
OTC, OVCC. Go ahead. PLT on board 1 minute ago. Copy at 12:32 GMT. And same to say it's 5:14 complete.
Copy.
OTC DPS. Go ahead, DPS. GMT and MET are just complete. That's step 544. Copy. CGNC, OTC.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 2 hours, 15 minutes and counting.
5:46 per the clock. Copy. And work.
Just heard Commander Walker performing voice checks with test conductors here in the Launch Control Center, and also with astronaut Eileen Collins, who is the Capcom, sitting in Houston at Mission Control today. Mission Specialist Mike Gernhardt is now being assisted with his flight suit. He'll be the next one to board the space shuttle. He is the only shuttle rookie on the flight. He has spent many hours below the surface as a deep-sea diver and project engineer on subsea oil field construction and repair projects. On this mission, Gernhardt will get a different perspective of what it's like at about 190 nautical miles above the planet during his walk in space with Mission Specialist Voss.
At this time.
Gernhardt gave a synopsis of the objectives of the spacewalk and the tools they will evaluate in this next video
And
clip.
524 and 525 are complete. I copy. Thank you.
Gernhardt is the only rookie on the flight today, and he will be seated on the middeck during ascent.
OTC, OVCC. Go ahead. MS3 on board at this time. Copy. And CMQC, that's on step 543.
Copy.
GMT is 12:37.
Copy.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 2 hours, 6 minutes and counting. We've got 3 crew members aboard the Shuttle Endeavor now. 2 crew members waiting their turn to be helped and assisted to get in the crew module. That would be Jim Voss and Jim Newman, still in the white room. At this point, all countdown activities are proceeding on schedule.
554 is complete.
Copy.
And NASA Test Director Bill Didell just been in touch with Houston flight directors. We are preparing to do the pre-flight alignment of the inertial measurement units. These are calibrated early in the countdown, and the next point is to transition from a calibration to an operational mode. Also, activities completed in our count today. The helium tanks and the main propulsion system have been pressurized. Also, the sound suppression water tank out at the launch pad, it has been topped off. That tank holds about 300,000 gallons of water, but it's emptied within about 20 seconds during the final few seconds prior to launch. It suppresses the sound on the mobile launcher platform and sprays through an engine exhaust at a rate of about 1 million gallons per minute. Also, the simulation of the first motion of the shuttle will be, that signal will be sent to the Johnson Space Center, also to the range safety and the firing room to test the system, which indicates liftoff. This is also the signal that starts the clock, which keeps track of the mission time. Out at the shuttle landing facility, the landing team
RSRT,
convoys
OTC
out
212.
there. made up of a number of vehicles in case we would have to return to the landing site following launch today.
RSRT, OTC 212.
Go ahead.
Step 566. Load new tapes for the range safety monitor station, rack 8234, to support terminal countdown. Ensure VCRs are set to record, and I need a text stamp number on that, please.
Copy, Emma.
Now getting a view of Payload Commander James Voss. He's responsible for the diverse payload operations. He's also one of the designated spacewalkers on the planned 6-hour spacewalk set to occur on Flight Day 10. In this next video clip, Voss shows his enthusiasm for the opportunity to perform a spacewalk and provides details of improvements made to the spacesuits.
CLT, this is OTC. Can I read you loud and clear? How me? And good morning to you.
Loud and clear. OTC, RSRT 212.
Go ahead.
Step 556 is complete. 1527 is the check number.
Copy.
Copy. OTC CGLS on 212.
Go ahead, GLS.
Completed implementation of SAP 92. That's steps 480 through 487.
Copy.
And we'll need a CMQC antenna 162 for our NITs. And I need to read you the following statement when you're ready.
Okay, go ahead, GLS.
Okay, thank you. SEP dual interrupt notification will be activated momentarily and may cause re-enunciation of error messages at systems consoles for interrupt monitor parameters currently out of GLS limits. That's step 548.
Copy that. You have a go-ahead to proceed. At CMQC, make sure we have coverage on channel 162.
Copy.
And that was 547, 548.
Copy.
NTD, PLT. Good morning, Bill.
PLT, this is NTD. Ken, good morning. And I'll get you loud and clear.
It is the same. Houston Endeavor, com check from the PLT.
Good morning, Taco. Houston reads you loud and clear. How me?
Loud and clear, Eileen. Good morning.
CGSS, OTC.
CGSS, go ahead.
Perform OAA, accumulator force charge, step 555.
Copy, put it in work.
OTC, ASP.
Go ahead, Ask.
CDR, PLT, ingress complete. Request go for post-ingress switch reconfig per ASP checklist.
You have a go-ahead to perform the ingress switch reconfig per your checklist, step 527.
In work.
OTC, CGSS, 556 and 557 are complete.
Copy. CGNC, OTC.
Go ahead.
Pick up 569 for the clock.
Copy.
OTC, CBSE 212.
CBSC, go ahead.
Roger, 565 is not performed.
Copy.
Copy.
OTC, ASP post-ingress switch reconfig is complete, and I'd like to adjust the caution or icon volume with caution and warning. We'll use parameter 99.
Copy. ISL, OTC.
ISO.
And copy, we're going to be doing caution warning volume adjust using parameter 099.
Copy that.
Go ahead, Ask.
Thank you. ICOM volume adjust is complete.
Copy that, Ask, and ISL, OTC, step 538.
Copy that.
CGNC, OTC.
Go ahead.
Give you a go-ahead for step 570.
Copy.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 1 hour, 55 minutes and counting. Mission Specialist Jim Voss now taking a climb aboard the orbiter Endeavour. still remaining quiet here in the firing room, which is a good sign. No technical problems are being checked.
Go ahead. MS-1 on board at this time. All right, copy, at 12:54 GMT.
Copy.
Flight controllers in Houston have reported that they received the first motion signal that was just sent from here to Houston. The test signifying that they would receive the signal following the launch of Endeavour. Endeavour's next flight will be STS-72. That's currently targeted for launch in early January. That flight will feature a crew of 6, including the third flight of a Japanese payload specialist and the retrieval of a Japanese satellite. Following the launch of Endeavour, just a brief update on an outline of the in-flight events. About 2 minutes into the flight, the 2 solid rocket boosters will be jettisoned and will fall into the Atlantic Ocean. About 8.5 minutes after launch, the main engines will cut off, having served their purpose getting the vehicle into orbit. And lastly, the external tank will be separated from the vehicle a few seconds after main engine cutoff, also known as MECO. During ascent, the Capcom, which is Eileen Collins today, she's in Houston. She was making routine calls to the crew aboard Endeavour, advising them of possible abort modes at different points during their ride into orbit. Mission Specialist Jim Newman will be the last to climb aboard Endeavour today. He will deploy the Wake Shield facility on Flight Day 5. He's also involved in operating the robot arm during the spacewalk. He will give a brief overview of the STS-69 complement of payloads in this next video clip.
CVFS, OTC.
CFS.
Could you go to channel 232 if entity in flight, please?
Copy.
Jim Newman is making his second flight into space today, making some
OTC,
waves and
MS3,
goodbyes to his
check.
flight family members.
Mike, I read you loud and clear. How may?
Got you loud and clear, Roger.
Thank you. Good morning.
NTD, MS3, com check.
MS3, this is NTD. I've got you loud and clear. Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
Real good. Well, how you doing?
We're doing fine right now. Hopefully the weatherman will stay with us like he currently is doing.
Yeah, MS3, com check. Go ahead.
Good morning, Mike. This is Houston. We read you loud and clear. How the...
Got you loud and clear, Eileen.
CGNC OTC 212.
Go ahead.
Step 581, flight is ready. You can pick that up for the clock.
Copy, thank you.
OTC.
Go ahead.
317 is closed at this time.
I copy, thank you. FCP OTC?
This FCP.
We'll give you step 582 for your fuel cell purge by the clock, and we'll get a QC on channel 153 for you.
Copy that, thank you.
QC OTC?
Copy 153.
Countdown clock now at T-minus 1 hour, 47 minutes and counting. All activities are on schedule for us to launch Endeavour at the opening of the window at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. And with good luck on the weather conditions here in Florida, that event would happen today on time. We do have a 2.5-hour window today, and we'll continue to monitor weather conditions in the Florida area. Management's concerned primarily with, as the temperatures heat up in the Florida area, be more typical kind of activity where we'd have rain showers, cloudiness in the area. This is all typical of the Central Florida area this time of the year. And astronaut Jim Newman is the last one to crawl inside the crew module.
we're performing our dolly Lou update. We're going to have a momentary loss of downlift.
CGNC OTC.
Go ahead.
Can you tolerate the loss of downlift at this time?
Yeah, it's just going to be momentary, correct?
Yeah, 2 to 3 seconds.
Copy.
NASA Test Director Bill Dowdell just communicating that the orbiter computers will be updated with the proper ascent profile depending on the upper level wind situation at the time of launch. The vehicle can compensate for wind shears in real time during ascent. However, with the stored programs, there is more flexibility based on weather conditions. Periodically in the countdown, data received from weather balloons is fed into computers to determine which ascent profile is best to use for the wind situation and atmospheric conditions for any particular day.
OTC, CMQC.
Go ahead.
Line item 320 is closed.
I copy.
OTC, this is MS1. Wolf, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. I read you loud and clear. How me?
And I hear you loud and clear, Roger. Thanks. NCD, this is MS1. Good morning.
MS1, this is NTD. I've got you loud and clear. Good morning, Jim.
Hey, good morning, Bill. Thanks a lot. I hear you loud and clear. Houston Endeavor, this is MS1. Comcheck, Eileen.
Good morning, Jim. We read you loud and clear down here in Houston. How me?
And I hear you loud and clear, Dogma. Wolf.
CMQC OTC.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you need to set somebody up on channel 142. This is just giving you a heads up for the hatch closure, which is orbiter op support setup 20. Then 143 for cabin leak checks.
Copy that. And do we have a time frame?
All right, 10 or 15, but I do want to get everything set up.
Copy that.
OTC, OVCC. Go ahead. MS2 crossing the threshold at this time. Okay. And that concludes all flight members. Okay, CMQC for 543, that's 1309 GMT.
Copy.
And now complete 543.
Copy.
Mission Specialist James Newman now aboard the Shuttle Endeavor. All crew members now inside. They'll be finishing up, getting strapped in, and situated for the flight today before the hatch is closed and locked.
And OTC, OVCC. Go ahead. I'd like to go to 142 and talk to AFM, please. All right, go ahead. CAFM, OTC. CFM copies.
In the next few minutes, there will be a series of communication checks between launch controllers and the flight crew, also flight crew checks with the mission controllers in Houston. Launch Director Jim Harrington was just in conversation with the weather officer. They were talking about some weather west of Kennedy Space Center over the Tampa area now. And we're hopeful that that system will stay in that vicinity and permit us to launch on time today, or at least within our 2.5-hour window. Still hopeful that the conditions will permit a launch window opening at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time.
OVCC back on 212. Copy.
Countdown clock now T-minus 1 hour, 37 minutes and counting. This is Shuttle Launch Control.
And step 585, all systems verify ready for crew module closeout.
OTC, CMQC.
Go ahead.
Line items 309, 313 are closed.
Copy. That would leave us with 0 items on the constraint post.
That's affirmed, sir.
Copy. Thank you.
OTC CTLS 212.
Go ahead, GLS.
TLS initialization is complete. That's step 683.
And copy that, GLS. Thank you. And ASP OTC.
Go ahead, OTC.
Yeah, Joe, whenever you're ready, close out the crew module for flight per your checklist. Inspect the crew module for any non-flight items and remove and report any additional items found, please.
Okay, welcome. Thank you.
OTC, CFCP.
FCP, go ahead.
Fuel cell purges are complete. That's step 583.
Copy.
OTC MS2, com check.
MS2, OTC. Jim, I read you loud and clear. How may?
Got you loud and clear, Roger. Good morning.
Good morning.
NTD MS2, com check.
MS2, we hear you barking loud and clear this morning. Good morning, Jim.
Cliff, good morning, Bill. Houston MS2, com check.
Good morning, Jim. Houston hears you loud and clear. How me?
Got you loud and clear, Eileen. Good morning.
OTC ASP, ready for AstroCom data ground checks.
Copy that. And all personnel on 212, any conversation on OIS channel 212 during the AstroCom checks will be heard by the crew. Channel should remain silent except for emergency calls. And CDR OTC, verify each member of the flight crew is ready to proceed with the AstroCom checks.
Okay, we are ready.
All right, copy and flight crew OTC. During the AstroCom checks, adjust appropriate volume control for comfort. Do not change audio panel switch configuration. Endeavor OTC on air-to-ground 1, how do you read?
Loud and clear. BLT.
MS1. MS2.
MS3.
Copy that. Going to air-to-ground 2. Endeavor OTC on air-to-ground 2, how do you read?
PDR, loud and clear. BLT.
MS1, loud and clear. MS2, loud and clear.
MS3, loud and clear.
I copy. Loud and clear on air-to-ground 2. Going to ICOM A. That was the COTC on ICOM A. How do you read? Endeavor, the COTC on UHF. How do you read?
PDR, loud and clear.
PDR, loud and clear. MS1, loud and clear. MS2, loud and clear.
MS3, loud and clear.
To read you all loud and clear on UHF, returning to air-to-ground 1. Thank you. And CDR OTC, that completes comm checks with myself, and we'll turn it over to NTD in flight.
Endeavor, Houston. CDR and PLT configure for air-to-ground 1 comm checks.
We are configured for air-to-ground 1 voice check.
Endeavor, Houston, for the CDR and PLT only, comm check on air-to-ground 1.
Houston, Endeavor, CDR, loud and clear. PLT, loud and clear.
Houston, read CDR and PLT both loud and clear and configure for air-to-ground 2.
Okay. Houston, Endeavor, we're configured.
Endeavor, Houston, for the CDR and PLT only, comm check on air-to-ground 2.
Loud and clear, Delta. BLT, loud and clear.
Houston reads you both loud and clear and configure for UHF only.
Cruise configured for air to air voice checks.
Endeavor Houston for the CDR and PLT only. Com check on UHF.
Houston Endeavor, loud and clear, CDR. PLT, loud and clear.
Houston reads you both loud and clear. Configure for SIMO voice checks.
Houston Endeavor, we're configured for the SIMO voice check.
Endeavor Houston, this is a com check for the entire crew. How do you read?
CDR, loud and clear, Wolf. BLT, loud and clear, Wolf. MS1, Wolf, loud and clear. MS2, loud and clear, Wolf. MS3, Wolf, loud and clear.
Endeavor Houston, we read you loud and clear, and this completes the air-to-ground voice checks.
OTC ASP, all non-flight items have been removed except for me and a panel that I will take with me, and we're ready to terminate comm between ASP and LCC.
I copy, Joe. Thanks for your support, and you have a go-ahead to disconnect comm at this time.
Good work.
JMQ says 587 and 625.
Copy.
OVCC, OTC? No. Verify you're ready for the hatch closure? We will be ready when we've cleared the ASP and the TIR log. Okay. And all personnel on 212, comm checks are complete at this time. Channel 212 is available for normal use. PVD, OTC?
PVD?
Step 666 through 668.
All not performed.
Copy. You want to hold them open in case we do need to reconfigure vent doors and then back again?
We have steps further down. We can go ahead and close them now.
Copy that. CCSE and RCRT, OTC?
CCSE on 212.
So we need you and RCRT over at channel 232 to support S-band to high power.
CCSE copies.
RCRT copy. And CMQC, OTC?
Go ahead.
Yeah, with the hatch closure, channel 142, let me know when you can buy off step 675.
Copy.
This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 1 hour, 15 minutes.
OTC, OVCC, go ahead.
We're on schedule for the launch of STS-69, right on time at 11:09 a.m. Eastern.
JFM, OTC?
We have no technical issues that
JFM.
we're concerned with at this point. The launch director was just talking with the range weather officials and looking at the weather that's over the Lakeland area, just actually west of the Lakeland area. It seems to be moving at about 15 knots toward the east. Appears we do have a chance of being able to launch before that system would come over the Central Florida KSC area. Just looks like it might be a bit of a race with the weather and with our countdown clock. So we are pressing on for an on-time launch at 11:09. Our window does extend for 2.5 hours today. And with all crew members now inside the Space Shuttle Endeavour, the White Room personnel are now closing the hatch, and after they complete that activity, they will be departing the launch pad, and there will be no one out at the pad except for the flight crew and the crew module. Closeout crew will fall back to an area where they could go back and, if they had to get the help the crew get out of the crew module if necessary.
Perform the RF step source verification. Copy, going to 128.
Flight crew did complete the voice checks on the different communication systems that they'll be using. They made those checks with launch controllers and also flight controllers in Houston. Those checks were successful. We do have 2 remaining built-in holds in our launch count today. They both are for 10 minutes in duration. The next one occurs at the T-minus 20-minute mark, and following that we'll have another 10-minute built-in hold at the T-minus 9-minute mark. Those are standard built-in holds that we have in every launch countdown. T-minus 1 hour, 13 minutes, and counting. This is Shuttle Launch Control.
OTC, CCSC, 212.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Contact the JRPS on channel 155, please.
JRPS, OTC. OTC to LPS.
LPS.
Yes, sir. Right now, RPS is currently supporting our RF checks. Are they required on 155 right now, or can they go after? CCSC, OTC.
CCSC, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, can you wait till JRPS completes the RF checks and then goes to your channel?
I've released them back to you, sir.
Oh, okay. You've already talked to them. Thanks. LPS, OTC. LPS copies. Thank you.
OTC, CCME back from 128.
Copy, CCME.
OTC, it's 1 pumping up this suit.
All right, copy. ECL, OTC.
ECL, copy. OTC, CGNC.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to get CMQC back on 141, please.
CMQC, OTC.
Copy 141.
CMQC, OTC. Just want to verify you have somebody standing by on channel 143.
That is affirmed.
OTC, CGNC.
Go ahead, CGNC.
Yes, at this time I can give you 681 is complete, and 682 will be not performed.
Copy that. Thank you.
OTC, CFM.
Go ahead, AFM.
Yeah, OTC, during the Hatfield leak check, we got a failed leak rate of 1.5, 1.0 psi per minute is max allowable. So we'd like to pick up an IPR and work pre-planned contingency troubleshooting out of 27 volume 5.
Okay, is that sequence 116?
That's affirmative.
Okay.
Starting step is 534, sequence 116.
Okay, let's go over to 232. We'll get that cleared and get you on your way.
Copy.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 1 hour and counting. Our countdown is on schedule for launch of Endeavour at the opening of our window at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. We were just monitoring conversation. We got an indication that the crew hatch failed the leak check, and we will be reperforming that test. We have some procedures that will allow us to repeat the hatch leak test. Again, just making plans to do that test. Doesn't take very long to do it all, and one of the things that we do following the flight crew's arrival into the crew module and after the hatch has been locked and sealed is perform a leak check. But meanwhile, all other preparations and procedures in our countdown are on schedule. Still monitoring weather conditions to the west over the Tampa Lakeland area. That system is moving toward the Central Florida area. We're going to try and make sure we can be ready at the opening of the window to be able to launch on time. And hopefully we'll beat the weather and have acceptable conditions for launch. T-minus 59 minutes and counting. This is Shuttle Launch Control. This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 56 minutes and counting. Again, we are reperforming the crew seal leak check, crew hatch leak check. The door was reopened. Closeout crew now going back over the sealing surface of the hatch there, and once they shut the door again, the crew will re-perform the leak check. That test did fail earlier when they performed the test, and this won't take too long to perform. NASA Test Director Bill Dowdell just talking with the test conductors, talking about doing the terminal count range safety closed loop test. That test verifies the path that the destruct signal would travel, and that the shuttle's range safety receiver responds correctly to the command sent. It's also a health check of the range safety signal. This is a standard activity during our countdown. Also, in just a few moments, the NASA Test Director, Bill Dowdell, will ask Mission Control to switch Endeavour's S-band antennas to the high-power mode and configure the communication system so that at liftoff it will transmit and receive by radio instead of through hard wires as we do during the countdown. The pre-flight alignment of inertial measurement units began a few minutes ago, and that will be completed during the T-minus 20-minute hold. Just to recap, all activities have gone very smooth in our countdown. Tanking activity began about 20 after 2 a.m. this morning, and the liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen were loaded into the external tank, and that was completed by quarter after 5 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got the shuttle training aircraft out at the shuttle landing facility. Astronaut Bob Cabana in that aircraft. He'll be making a real-time assessment of the weather conditions in the vicinity of the Kennedy Space Center. We always have an astronaut flying in the SDA for weather reconnaissance during this time in our countdown. Launch controllers and mission controllers are watching a weather system toward the west of Kennedy Space Center, out over the Lakeland area about this time. It's moving about 15 knots toward the east, and we're hoping that we'll be able to launch before that system would come to the Kennedy Space Center area. Also concerned that once the temperatures rise here in the Central Florida area, that the system typical here in the September time frame in Florida, that convection would occur and bringing clouds and rain and possibly thunderstorms in the vicinity this afternoon. So we're hoping to be able to launch before any of that would enter into the area. Again, we're counting down to the hold at the T-minus 20-minute mark. That hold is planned, and it will last for 10 minutes. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 51 minutes and counting.
GLS OTC.
GLS on 212.
Yeah, pick up the GLS mainline activation per the clock, please.
Yes, sir. We'll sure do that.
And DPS OTC.
DPS.
Yeah, step 761, perform the DPS launch countdown sequence activation per the clock.
Copy.
But you see a couple of suits were inflated during the hatch was open and deflated now.
Okay, so you're going to be pumping them back up?
Negative, they're deflated at this time.
Okay. ECL OTC?
ECL.
Yeah, if you copy.
Negative.
Okay, when we open and close the hatch, the suit configurations change as far as air in them.
Copy.
OTCC GLS on 212.
Go ahead, GLS.
Yes, sir. GLS mainline activation is complete. That's step 749 through 755, with a not perform on step 752.
Okay, the entire step's not performed.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's a shuttle launch control at T-minus 43 minutes and counting.
Go DPS.
DPS launch countdown sequence activation complete.
The White Room crew continuing to perform a leak check
Copy that,
along with the flight crew. of the cabin. Earlier, the crew cabin failed the leak check, and they did reopen the hatch door to Endeavour and check the seal, and that work is underway. Leak is being evaluated, and hopefully the resealing and reclosure of the door corrected that problem. We'll find out in the next couple of minutes. There are several highlights during the STS-69 mission. They include the deploy and retrieval of the Wake Shield facility and the Spartan 201 payload, and also a 6-hour planned spacewalk on Flight Day 10. We've got about a 2.5-minute animation videotape on this. The Spartan will be deployed on Flight Day 2 and will fly alone for 47 hours outside the shuttle to investigate physical conditions of the solar corona, particularly that part of the sun's atmosphere where the solar wind is generated.
CFM.
Electronically charged particles stream from the sun. Such a solar wind traveling as fast as 621 miles per second. An important reason for studying the solar corona is that the solar wind and solar flares affect satellite communication. The Spartan will be retrieved with a robot arm on Flight Day 4. On Flight Day 5, the Wake Shield facility will be deployed, and it will follow behind the shuttle at a station-keeping distance of about 30 nautical miles. Wake Shield occupies about a quarter of the payload bay. The cold gas propulsion system allows the free flyer to separate from the shuttle. The Wake Shield itself weighs a little over 4,000 pounds. The vacuum wake behind the shield as it moves in orbit is an environment which is 1,000 to 10,000 times better than the best laboratory vacuum chamber on Earth. Investigators hope to grow very pure, thin films in the Wake Shield facility. The Wake Shield will be retrieved on Flight Day 7 with the robot arm. On Flight Day 10, getting close to the end of the mission, mission specialist Gernhardt and Voss will perform a 6-hour spacewalk. They will be on the robot arm for about 1 hour each. One of the things they'll evaluate is the electronic cuff checklist. They'll also be evaluating changes made to the spacesuit that will protect spacewalkers from an extremely cold space environment. They'll work with handrails, fasteners, and connectors at a station on the payload bay wall, both free-floating and in the foot restraint. This spacewalk will mark the 30th EVA of the shuttle program. Countdown counting down to the hold at T-minus 20 minutes. Again, that's a planned hold, 10 minutes in duration. We're continuing to retest the hatch and reperform the leak check of the crew hatch. All other countdown activities are on schedule and proceeding normally. T-minus 39 minutes and counting. This is shuttle launch control.
AFM and ECL OTC 212.
ECL.
And AFM OTC 212.
The CFM on 212.
Okay, just to clean up a few things. Yeah, are you at this time AFM in a posture where we can go ahead and do the cabin leak check?
Yes, from our OTC. We just talked to OTC and completed all the complete steps, and we're ready to go.
Okay, I copy that. And we'll go ahead and pick that up while you clean up your paperwork. Once you get it's paper only from 674, you can move your constraint down to 1058, which is coming out of the 9-minute hold. CDR and ECL OTC.
ECL.
CDR OTC.
CDR.
Okay, step 676, stand by to perform the cabin leak check. Master alarm and light will come on as a function of high cabin pressure. CDR should notify ECL of cabin pressure master alarm. The cabin klaxon master alarm will also sound due to high cabin decay rate due to the cap installation. Reset the master alarm. And CDR, if you're ready, on panel L2A1.
I'm ready.
Cabin vent. Vent isolation switch open until you get an isolation talkback open and then talkback closed.
That's complete. The cabin vent ISO is open. The vent talkback is closed.
Copies that. ECL?
ECL verifies, and we'll resume the cabin integrity check on 143 if we can get OMT over there.
Okay, OVCC, OTC?
It's OVCC at 212.
Okay, we'll need somebody on channel 143 at ECL for cabin.
That's in work.
Thank you. CMQC at 676, 7, 8, and 9.
Copy.
And CDR OTC?
CDR go.
Perform the PATH BFS transfer prep.
Good mark.
OTC, CMQC.
Go ahead.
I understand that LifeSpy PR 126 has been canceled now.
Okay, I just got that word myself. Thank you.
OTC CFM.
Go ahead, AFM.
Yeah, and we copy that also, that IPS canceled down.
Okay. OVCC, OTC.
Go.
Okay, close out the white room for orbiter up support setup 20. Verify that the orbiter, ECS air damper closed, and chamber, ECS air damper open.
In work.
OTC CDR. The past BFS transfer prep is complete.
Copy that. 786 complete. And CDR OTC, perform the OHMS GN2 press.
Good work. OTC CDR. The OHMS engines are on press.
Copy. 795, 96, and 97. And PLT OTC,
Go ahead.
perform the water spray boiler GN2 supply activation.
Okay, it's in work. The water spray boiler GN2 supply activation is complete.
Copy. And COSC OTC,
Go ahead.
pick up step 803.
Copy that.
OTC ECL.
Good, ECL.
I need a cabin pressure reading off of panel 01 from the CDR, please.
CDR OTC.
Copy, and it looks like about 15 from here.
ECL copy.
And CMQC 810 is complete at this time.
Copy.
And LPS OTC. OTC LPS. I'm sorry, I kicked off COFC on step 803, also yourself, step 803, please. I cover that, I can verify 803. EPD OTC.
This is EPD.
Step 813, please.
Copy.
OTC ECL.
Go ECL.
I just want to inform the crew that we're starting to pressurize the crew module this time, and CDR should get a master alarm momentarily.
Okay, CDR OTC, did you copy?
I copy.
CDR.
Okay, got a master alarm and I've reset it.
Copy that, ECL.
ECL copies, thank you.
And CDR, you can go ahead and reset. And CDR, are you ready to perform the simul air-to-ground voice check?
Whenever you are.
This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 27 minutes and counting. The flight crew will be performing SIMO voice checks with flight controllers in Houston in just a few minutes. Also, the ground launch sequencer mainline computer program has been activated and is now processing data. This program will monitor various key commands and systems prior to its assuming control of the countdown at the T-minus 9-minute mark. It appears at this time that the weather forecast is turning very favorable for a launch right at the opening
Endeavour
of our
Houston,
window at
this will be
11:09
a
a.m.
SIMO
Eastern time.
com check for the entire crew. Endeavour Houston, com check, how do you read?
CDR, loud and clear. CLT, loud and clear. MS1, loud and clear.
MS2, loud and clear.
MS3, loud and clear.
Endeavour Houston, we read you loud and clear. I have some updates that I will be reading to you on your ascent. We are going to configure for ICOM Bravo for me to read those updates to you. Stand by for that, although I ask that you read back to me on the air-to-grounds since I cannot hear you on ICOM B. Over.
Okay, we understand.
OTC, so that's there.
Go ahead.
I can give you 808.
Copy. TLS, OTC.
TLS, go.
Do we have step 817?
Yes, sir, we sure do.
OTC, CMQC.
Go ahead.
Looks like orbiter op support setup 20 is complete.
Copy that. And that would buy off step
674 and 675.
Hey.
Houston, I'm sorry, ATC CDR, I reset the master alarm just now. And OTC CDR, once again, reset master alarm.
Okay, I copy. ECL, what do you say?
ECL.
Yeah, is that master alarm that was expected?
Oh, was that for, what was it for?
CDR, OTC, could you repeat, please?
Well, I suspect it was for DPDT as the cabin pressure was coming down.
ECL copies, that's expected.
And CDR, if you haven't done so, you can go ahead and reset.
OTC ISL.
It's reset, thank you.
Go ahead.
We show the master alarm being parameter 034.
Which is?
It's O2 partial pressure A.
Okay, copy.
ECL copies, that's also expected.
OTC is OVCC back on 212.
Copy. And OVCC, OTC?
Go.
Okay, Travis, you're still working op support setup 20 for the light room?
That's firm.
Okay.
We have to get...
Endeavour Houston, contact on air-to-ground.
Before I close those dampers. Go ahead, I mean.
Endeavour, I have your max rates in first stage. You let me know when you're ready to copy. And I've also got some updates to your no-com mode boundaries.
Okay, go ahead, Houston.
Max roll, 2 degrees per second at 70 seconds. Max pitch, 1 degree per second at 70 seconds. Max yaw, less than 1 degree per second. Expect no lofting in second stage. Press to ATO, new boundary is 9er 000. Press to MECO, new boundary is 11800. Over.
Okay, we got it, thank you.
Okay, CGNC, OTC?
Go ahead.
Step 824.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 20 minutes and counting. Just about 15 seconds now away from entering into the next hold, which comes at the T-minus 20-minute mark. This hold will last for 10 minutes.
OTC, CGNC? Go ahead. Yeah, that'd be a not performed. Copy. And all personnel on 212, verify fine room console software
During this hold, the
configuration.
test director will go through a routine of asking members to verify that the proper software has been loaded for the remainder of the countdown.
Report only if any discrepancies. JRPS,
Immediately
OTC.
after liftoff, control of the
JRPS.
orbiter and flight
Step,
switches from
853.
Kennedy to mission control
Copy.
at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Flight controllers are standing by now
OTC,
to assume
ECL.
control of the
ECL.
vehicle.
We're ready to
We will now
remove the
go
probe
to
and
Mission
reinstall
Control
the
to
cap
get a
onto
brief
the
update
flight
on their
hatch.
activities.
CDR should expect clocks on due to high cap pressure decay rate.
This is Mission Control Houston. Flight controllers belonging to the ascent team have been on station since about 4 o'clock this morning, monitoring Endeavour systems in preparation for the fifth shuttle launch of the year.
853 complete.
The ascent team is led by Flight Director Wayne Hale with the assistance of astronaut Eileen Collins, who will be the spacecraft communicator talking directly with the crew during Endeavour's 8.5-minute ride to orbit. The Spaceflight Meteorology Group here at the Johnson Space Center has been keeping tabs on conditions at the launch site at the Kennedy Space Center and conditions at contingency landing sites in Africa and Europe, which would be used in the event an emergency landing is required shortly after liftoff. Ben Guerir, Morocco is the preferred site today in the event of a transoceanic abort. Endeavour will be sent aloft on the collective power of its 3 liquid-fueled main engines and its twin solid rocket boosters, combining for a total of 7 million pounds of thrust. Within minutes of its launch, Endeavour will settle into an oval-shaped orbit, which will be circularized about 42 minutes into the flight by a firing of the shuttle's orbital maneuvering system engines. The 5 astronauts on board Endeavour will go to work shortly after the shuttle's cargo bay doors are open, checking out orbiter and payload systems and activating the shuttle's robot arm, which will be used for a host of activities during this planned 11-day mission. Again, the ascent team and Flight Director Wayne Hale are set to take over control of the flight of Endeavour at solid rocket booster ignition for the start of the 71st mission in shuttle program history. At T-minus 20 minutes in holding, this is Mission Control Houston.
And CGSS OTC.
CGSS, go ahead.
Pick up 926.
Hey, copy.
And DCL OTC, how are we doing on cabin pressure?
We're complete with the pressurization portion, and we're just monitoring at this point. In about 5 minutes, we'll switch over the vent valve.
Okay.
OTC, CGNC?
Ed?
Yes, at this time, your pre-flight line is complete, ready for transition to Ops 1. Also, I can give you steps 915 and 916.
Okay, copy that. DPS OTC? DPS, copy 916. OTC, OVCC. DPS, copy.
OTC, CGNC?
OVCC, OTC. Go. You were calling. Yeah, I'll give you the ECS air dampers closed and the chamber ECS air damper is open on 781. Copy.
Attention on T32, 136, and 212. All 15 personnel switch to channel 212 active through T0. All personnel not active in the test switch to channel 217. FCO, this is NTD on 212 for a comm check. How do you read?
NTD, FCO on 212. You're loud and clear. How many?
You're loud and clear also. CHGD, CGSS, and JBFX. Verify active on 212, monitor 232 for the remainder of count. HGD, HGD, GSS, GSS verified, and JBFX. JBFX verified. I copy. JRPS can verify decons on RF source. JRPS verifies. Copy. And 900 through 903 not required. And this is the NTD conducting the briefing at T-minus 20. The launch window opens today at 11:09 local, closes at 13:39 local. A second launch attempt is possible if a recycle occurs. We have 2 COLAs. They are from 12:10 until 12:12 local and from 13:47 to 13:49 local. If a hold is requested and issued between T-minus 9 and T-minus 31 seconds, the countdown clock will be restarted upon the successful resolution of the problem without a go survey made of all elements. If launch cannot be accomplished within the window, or if our cutoff times are exceeded, NTD will call a cutoff. The launch streamback hold time constraint today is 5 minutes 36 seconds. PLT at T-minus 5 minutes, perform APU start on command of OTC only.
PLT copies.
And CDR, the pad egress system is nominal. Our evacuation helipad today is helipad 8, and that is over on the at the end of the cutoff row between pad A and pad B.
CDR, roger.
Fire room launch team, disable your telephone ringers at this time. Ingress and egress of the fire room will not be allowed after resuming the count at T-minus 20 until after launch or flight crew egress if a recycle occurs. All personnel not active in the test, please monitor LIS-217. And please bear in mind that critical post-launch operations will be in progress after a successful launch to keep firing room activity and noise to a minimum. After T-minus 20, all problems or trends that require a countdown clock hold will be reported to the NTD on channel 212 together with a recommendation. After T-minus 5 minutes, any hold, either manual or GLS, should be accompanied by a description of the problem and a recommendation. The countdown clock will continue until T-minus 31 seconds, unless the recommendation to hold at the next milestone is necessary. Are there any questions? That concludes the briefing.
NTD CGLS on 212.
Go GLS.
Yes, sir. You have a pending resume time of 14:39 GMT.
I copy. And we are ready for that.
OTC ECL.
Go ahead, ECL.
Step 756, the initial cabin integrity check is complete.
Okay.
Proceed with cabin redundancy configuration.
Copy that. NTD and STM, step 757, pick up 758, CDR OTC.
STM NTD 758.
I copy. Yes, CDR, perform the cabin vent redundancy configuration.
CDR will come.
SRO NTD.
SRO is on.
You called?
Yes, sir. I just want to report that computers final loads are complete. And that's just a courtesy call. See, there's no OMI step for that.
Copy that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 20 minutes and holding. We've got less than 2 minutes remaining in this built-in hold. Just heard NASA Test Director Bill Dowdell give the standard briefing to the launch team about hold options. As we resume our countdown at the T-minus 20-minute mark, Endeavour's onboard computers will transition into the terminal count configuration. Also, we're finishing up with the final activities associated with the cabin leak check.
The cabin vent redundancy config is complete.
Copy that. And ECL, let me know when you're ready for step 769.
ECL copy.
Launch Director Jim
CDR
Harrington,
NTD 212.
last minute check with the weather officials.
CDR go.
Yes, sir. We're going to change helipads. We're going to go with helipad 2, and that is just west of the AB5 roadblock there by the MSF Park site.
Okay.
Weather conditions look like they're going to hold out for us for an 11:09 a.m. launch of the Shuttle Endeavour on mission STS-69. Weather conditions we were concerned about
OTC, OBCC.
at a slow enough pace to allow us to have clear weather
standing by at this
at
time,
the opening of our
tear down the
window.
White Room. Copy. Go ahead and let us
count
know when
will
you're ready to
resume
leave. Well,
about
I'm
30
waiting on
seconds.
a tile engineer to give us some word. Were you aware of that? Yes, I was. Haven't got a good answer yet. Okay. You want me to go ahead and tear the White Room down? Go ahead.
OTC, TBC, PTC, and LPS verify firing room console software configured properly for T-minus 20 minutes. Only the programs listed may be active. Step 854.
OTC verifies.
TBC verifies.
PTC verifies.
LPS verifies.
Copy.
Countdown
T-minus 20
clock
minutes,
now
yeah.
has resumed. We will march down to the next hold at the T-minus 9-minute mark. That hold will last for 10 minutes.
OTC ECL.
Go ahead, ECL.
Step 769, final cabin leak check is complete.
Okay, and 770?
770, recorded DPDT of minus 0.001.
Copy that. ACD, OTC?
Go ahead.
Step 771?
Copy that.
And ECL, you're ready to proceed on, right?
ECL is ready.
Okay, CDR, OTC?
CDR go.
Open the cabin vent isolation valve.
That should work. Cabin vent ISO is open.
Copy that. And DCL, step 777.
ECL acknowledges.
CDR's reset to maximum for DPDT.
We're at T-minus 18 minutes and counting.
OTC DPS. Go ahead, DPS. Pass off transition complete. complete. DPS ready for BFS transition to Ops 101. Copy that. CDR OTC.
CDR go.
Clear pass fault sum, spec 99 Pro, and take BFS to Ops 1 for your checklist. Report completion.
Good work.
Closeout crew now closing out the white room, making preparations to leave the launch pad. And the crew hatch seal leak test reperformed was successful. Everything is looking good for an on-time launch today of the shuttle Endeavour. Weather looks like it will hold out for us.
Entity.
And the crew hatch leak test was successful.
CVFS entity 212.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, let us know when you are ready for the BFS uplink, please.
I copy.
T-minus 17 minutes and counting.
NTD, AFM.
Go AFM.
We need to have OVCC come back to 142, please.
OVCC channel 142, please.
And CDR OTC.
OTC CDR.
Yeah, BFS Ops 1 transition, is it complete?
It's in work.
Okay, copy.
Commander Walker now configuring the backup flight system computer to match the onboard computers for the Ascent software.
TVD OTC.
TVD, go.
Pick up 842 through 844.
Copy and work.
NTD CVFS.
Go ahead, VFS.
Ready for uplink.
I copy. Houston flight, NTD.
NTD Houston flight.
Step 951, perform the BFS pre-flight uplink load.
We'll put it in work.
NASA Test Director Bill Dowdell asked Houston Flight to send their pre-flight uplink commands to the Airborne's backup flight system.
BFS is in Ops 1.
Copy that. PLT OTC. Configure the path and BFS horizontal situation displays per your checklist. And CDR OTC. Configure the contingency aboard yaw steer per your checklist.
Okay.
OTC,
T-minus
DVD
15 minutes and
212.
counting.
Go ahead.
I have two verifications for you. All vent doors are normal purge configuration. That's 842 through 844. And the payload bay purge flow rate is set for launch. That is 820 and 821.
Copy.
1020 and 1021.
Copy.
SDE entity 212.
Go ahead, NTD. It's SPE.
Yeah, reference the tile business that we're working. Is there a requirement to pick up paper, or are we good to go?
Oh, one moment.
NTD flight, I can give you step 952 complete.
I copy. 952 complete.
PFS copy. Yeah, NTD is SPE. We need to take paper out of it. We can do it on that deferral CMRB if it's acceptable.
Stand by, please. SPE entity 212.
Go ahead.
Can you get those personnel come over to 232, please?
Which personnel are you referring to?
Do we have TPS engineer on the net?
And TPS is on 212.
Can you please go to 232 with ANTD? SPE, can you go to 232 with ANTD, please?
Yes, sir.
CMQC, please go to 232 with ANTD.
And CWS OTC?
OTC, come on.
Configure the OHMS RCS cross seat for flight.
Copy.
PLT OTC?
Go ahead.
Okay, you got the horizontal situation configuration complete?
That is complete.
Okay, I'd like to go ahead and perform the MPS helium reconfiguration.
T-minus 13 minutes and counting.
In work.
OTC ECL.
Ready, CL.
Step 829, cabin venting is complete. We're ready for a cabin pressure reading.
Okay, CDR OTC?
CDR go.
And panel 01, I need a cabin press. OTC, OVCC. Right with you, OVCC. Am I under the impression this is a no-work situation on this IPR? We're getting those words, but stand by, please. Okay, I copy.
OTC-CDR, the cabin pressure is about 15.1.
Okay, and ECL?
ECL copies for step 831, record a cabin press of 14.69.
Copy that. CDR?
OTC, Anthony, if I could for a minute, let's go ahead and get the closeout crew out of the white room. No work required. Let's come on back to AB11, please.
Copy that. OVCC, OTC? Go ahead. Okay, tile work has been cleared, and you're go at this time to clear the white room and head back to the roadblock. Thanks for your support. Okay, can I go ahead and just give you step 838 now then? Copy and that. We're en route. Thank you. And CDR, OTC? CRT3. Establish BFS system summary 1 display and report the cabin pressure.
Safety console, camera 181 for the closeout crew coming back. Copy.
OTC-CDR.
Go ahead, CDR.
Cabin press is 14.7 on SM system along the BFS.
Okay, and establish the GNC BFS memory display.
OTC, 1.
Go ahead.
We can give you step 966. Holmes FCS cross-feed valves configured for flight.
Copy that. And ECL, OTC?
ECL.
You ready for 834?
ECL's ready.
Okay, CDR, OTC?
Go ahead.
You can close the cabin vent valves at this time.
Okay, good work.
OTC PLT, MPS helium reconfig is complete.
Copy that, thank you.
OTC CVFS.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir, T20 dumping compare is complete, zero miss compares.
Copy.
OTC-CDR, the vent system is closed.
Copy that, stage 37. There. EPD and FCP, OTC?
This is EPD.
979 to adjust the fuel cell loads, please.
FCP copies.
T-minus 9 minutes and counting. We're coming up on our planned built-in hold at the
And all
T-minus 9
personnel
minute mark.
discontinue all non-mandatory LDB traffic for remainder of count. 996.
Commander and pilot have been busy preparing the orbiter for launch. Closeout crew has now departed the white room, and they'll be leaving the launch pad soon. They're getting into the vehicle. They'll be going to their fallback area, their designated spot for launch.
STM entity, I'll give you 977.
Copy.
SRO entity.
T-minus 9 minutes and holding.
SRO, go ahead.
SRO's on.
Okay, we are right now getting the closeout crew back to AB11, and you'll hear that call here momentarily.
Yes, sir. We're standing by.
And the countdown clock's at T-minus 9 minutes and holding.
NTD, this is GFR.
No GFR. Can we put 840 in work, sir? I copy.
And NTD, SG. Yes, sir. Look for coming to closure on the water spray boiler, system 2, CO2 regulator. Deploy as is, and we'll start working the filibar right after that.
Okay, copy. And how about our tile PR? Okay, copy that. Disregard. NTD, ISOL. Go ahead. Can we get a CMQC on 145? CMQC entity, please go to 145.
Copy.
NTD, SCM.
Good.
995.
Copy.
All personnel here in the fire
Flight
room have
entity
switched over
212.
to the same communications channel.
NTD?
Yes, sir. I'm assuming all of our updates are not performed.
That's affirmative.
Copy that. 1002 through 1009 not performed. And flight NTD, how about step 1015?
Not required as well.
copy that. 1016 is not performed.
During this hold, we'll expect to get the polling of the launch team members, verifying they are ready to resume the countdown and launch endeavor on mission STS-69 at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. When the countdown resumes, the ground launch sequencer will be in control. This is the master computer program that will issue commands to perform the final critical tasks required to put the vehicle in launch configuration. It will monitor as many as 1,000 different measurements during the final 9 minutes to make sure they do not fall out of their predetermined limits. At the T-minus 31 second mark, the ground launch sequencer will issue a go to Endeavor's onboard computers to start their own automatic sequence. Final command from the ground computers comes at T-minus 10 seconds, which is a go for engine start. The engines will start at approximately T-minus 6.6 seconds, and the booster ignition occurs right at T0.
NTD PAC console. Go PAC. Has 838 been complied with? 838 PAC? Yes. That's affirmed. Thank you. PAC console, they're on camera 80. Sequencer 181 PAC console. ISL, JRPS, and Houston Flight, NTD. Step 1023, please activate recorders. ISL copies.
Flight copies.
JRPS.
JRPS copy.
Step 1023, please. Thank you. This is the NTD conducting the launch status check, step 1026. Verify ready to resume the count and say go or no go for launch. OTC.
OTC is go.
TBC.
TBC is go.
PTC. PTC is go. LPS.
LPS go.
Houston Flight.
Houston Flight is go.
Mila.
Mila's go.
STM.
STM go.
Safety console. Safety is go. SPE.
NTD SD is go pending resolution of the filibar problem on the side hatch.
Okay, I copy. You want to I copy. CDR. CDR. Go. Copy. LRD. LRD's go. And SRO.
SRO is no go, sir, pending KSC area clear for launch.
I copy, and we're about to give that to you.
Thank you, sir.
Launch Director, NTD.
NTD, go ahead.
Yes, sir. We have 2 items on our plate. Closeout crew back to AB11 and final paper clear on the fill bar on the door. With that clearing, we'll be ready to proceed.
Copy, and we ought to have that in just a few minutes, then, right?
Affirmative.
Roger that. I'll stand by here for a minute before I do my poll in.
Copy. FTE, NTD, how we doing with that paper?
They're working out on 245 right now. Trying to get an orbiter position on it.
Safety console, NTD, I've got closeout crew on 105 at AB11. Do you concur? I can give you step 973 at this time, so it's safe. Copy that. PAC console, we got closeout crew at AB11. STM, NTD, terminate video tracking of the closeout crew.
Look up.
SRO.
Clear to launch.
Go ahead, sir.
Can you give me 976?
I'm standing by waiting for you to get me 976.
Excuse me, KSC area is clear for launch.
Thank you, sir.
Stand by.
And with that, SRO, can you give me your portion of step 1026?
Stand by, sir. Just a minute.
Copy. OTCC shooting.
Go ahead.
Step 1038 complete.
Copy. 14.
NTD, SRO on 212.
Go, SRO.
Yes, sir. I can give you step 1026. SRO is go. You have a range clear to launch.
Copy that. Thank you. Launch Director, NTD, your launch team is ready to proceed with resolution of the solar bar paper.
I copy that. Thank you.
NTD, SDE, go. Yeah, we just got our final go on the promoter on the to fly route at Philibar, and for IPRs both 126 and 127 engineering is ready to proceed. I copy, no constraints to launch that. Thank you. Launch Director, your launch team is ready to proceed.
Copy that. And this is the launch director coming around for a poll for clearance to launch. Payload director? Payload to go. Copy. Engineering director? Jim, engineering is go. Copy that. SNMA director?
Safety and quality is go.
Copy that. And range weather? Launch director, we have no constraints to launch. Copy that. And ops manager,
clear to proceed.
Countdown clock will start in approximately 2 minutes. Go, JFR.
And Ops Manager, Launch Director on 212.
Jim, this is the Ops Manager. The MMT is cleared all issues. You're clear to launch.
Copy that. Thank you. And Endeavor, looks like we're opening up the gate, and we're going to turn you loose shortly to have a good hunt. We'll see you back here in about 11 days. And NTD Launch.
Okay, Jim.
NTD Launch Director, you're clear to proceed.
I copy that. Countdown clock will resume in 1 minute, 15 seconds. NTD ISL. Go ISL. Up to 2 recorders activated. Copy.
All of the polls have been completed. All members of the launch team
Countdown clock will start in 1
and
minute.
mission management team have concluded that they are ready to resume the countdown and launch Endeavor. We've got about 50 seconds remaining in our built-in hold. After that, the countdown clock will continue counting at the T-minus 9 minute up to the launch of Endeavor.
The countdown clock will resume on my mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
T-minus 9 minutes
T-minus
and counting.
9 minutes and counting.
TLS auto sequence has been initiated.
Pilot Cockrell will be flipping the switches in the orbiter's crew cabin to connect the 3 fuel cells to the essential power buses in the next few minutes. T-minus 8 minutes, 30 seconds. Launch controllers just cleared up the last few items in the countdown today.
OTC, configure fuel cell, essential bus source switches.
That's in work. The fuel cells are connected to the essential buses.
The orbiter's access arm will be retracted away from the
TLS is
vehicle.
go for orbiter access arm retract.
This arm can be re-extended in just a few minutes if necessary. All items and concerns have been cleared up for launch today. Weather conditions again are go for launch, and we have no technical issues. Just past the T-minus 7 minute mark in our launch for Endeavor.
JRPS OTC, start the APU and hydraulic strip chart recorders.
In the next
Hydraulic
minute,
strip charts running.
Pilot Cockrell will be performing activities to put the auxiliary power units in the ready-to-start configuration.
And
The
PLT
units will actually
OTC,
be started at
perform
T-minus
APU
5 minutes.
pre-start.
Restarts in work. OTC, APU pre-starts complete. 3 gray talkbacks.
Copy.
Again, at the T-minus 5 minute mark, the auxiliary power units will be started. T-minus
TLS is
5
go
minutes.
for orbiter APU start.
PLT OTC, perform APU start. CDR OTC, reconfigure heaters.
That's in work on both things.
Final purge sequence of the main engines will begin in about 30 seconds, and the engine valves will be opened to prepare for
OTC,
start.
APU starts complete. Looks like we have 3 good ones.
Copy.
And feed line heaters are off as well.
I copy.
T-minus
TLS is
4
go for
minutes.
purge sequence 4.
Final purge underway of the main engines. Just a few seconds, a profile test of the orbiter's aero surfaces will be completed. And the 3 main engines are being gimbaled and positioned for launch. All systems are go for launch at this time, just a few minutes away from the 9th voyage of Endeavour with a crew of 5 on a multifaceted 11-day mission. T-minus 3 minutes and counting.
GLSs go for ET LO2 pressurization.
In the next few minutes, we will retract the gaseous oxygen vent hood away from the top of the tank.
Clear caution warning memory. Verify no unexpected errors.
That's in work.
Pilot will be closing their visors in the next few seconds at the T-minus 2 minute mark.
OTC, caution warning memory is clear, no unexpected errors.
Copy. And flight crew, close and lock your visors. Initiate O2 flow. Every dog has his day, and today is your day. On behalf of the launch team, we wish you good luck on your mission.
Thanks a bunch, and the dogs are ready to fly.
GLSs go for ET LH2 pressurization.
The 5-member crew dubbed themselves the Dog Crew. They're about to begin their first flight day for mission STS-69. All systems aboard Endeavour
1 minute,
are go.
30 seconds.
90 seconds away from launch. External tank is now pressurized for flight. Endeavour will be launched on an easterly trajectory on an orbit inclined 28 degrees to the equator. Endeavour's launch marks the 71st Space Shuttle launch. Less than 1 minute away now. At the T-minus 31 second mark, Endeavour's onboard computers will have control of vehicle functions. Just seconds before launch, thousands of gallons of water will be dumped on the launch platform to help suppress the sound.
Go for auto sequence start.
25. 20.
12, 11, 10,
GLSs go for main engine
we
start.
have a go for engine start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Endeavour on the 71st flight of the Space Shuttle on a multifaceted mission.
Houston now controlling the flight of Endeavour.
Roger, roll, Endeavour.
Endeavour completes the roll to place the shuttle in a heads-down, wings-level position for the 8.5-minute ride to orbit. "25 seconds into the flight, Endeavour's 3 liquid fuel main engines begin to throttle back in a 2-step fashion to 67% of rated performance. That will dampen the stress on the shuttle's aero surfaces as it breaks through the sound barrier. 55 seconds into the flight, Endeavour passes through the sound barrier. The main engines begin to rev back up to full throttle. All of the engines performing normally, along with Endeavour's 3 power-producing fuel cells and 3 hydraulic power units.
Endeavour, go at throttle up.
Endeavour, Roger, go at throttle up.
Throttle up call acknowledged by Commander Dave Walker. He's joined on the flight deck by pilot Ken Cockrell, flight engineer Jim Newman, and payload commander Jim Voss, mission specialist Mike Gernhardt, seated alone down on the middeck. 1 minute 35 seconds into the flight. Endeavour more than 88,000 feet in altitude, traveling more than 3,000 feet per second, already 13 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center on a due east trajectory. One minute 50 seconds into the flight, 15 seconds away from solid rocket booster separation. That will be confirmed by the booster officer here in Mission Control. Endeavour now 155,000 feet in altitude, more than 26.5 miles downrange. Booster officer confirms a good solid rocket booster separation.
Endeavour, performance nominal.
Endeavour, Roger.
Spacecraft communicator Eileen Collins indicating a perfect ride this morning on the solid rocket boosters. Guidance has converged. Onboard computers now steering Endeavour for a precise keyhole in space for main engine cutoff, less than 6 minutes from now.
Endeavour, 2-engine Ben Guerrier.
2-engine Ben.
That call indicating that if one engine should fail, Endeavour has enough velocity, enough inertia to make a transoceanic abort landing at Ben Guerir, Morocco on the west coast of Africa. However, all three main engines continue to function by the book. Three minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. Endeavour traveling at almost 6,000 feet per second, almost 100 miles downrange. All of Endeavour's systems continue to function normally. Environmental Control Officer reporting a good flash evaporator system activated aboard Endeavour that will provide cooling to the orbiter until the payload bay doors are open at about the 1 hour 25-minute mark into the flight.
Endeavour Houston, negative return.
Endeavour, roger, negative return.
Endeavour Houston, press to ATO, select band Jewel.
Press to ATO and selecting band Jewel.
4.5 minutes into the flight, Endeavour now more than 340,000 feet in altitude. The trajectory beginning to flatten out a bit as it travels almost 10,000 feet per second, 165 miles downrange. So far, a flawless ascent to orbit. Five minutes into the flight, coming up on the press to MECO call. At that point, Endeavour will have enough velocity, enough inertia to make normal main engine cutoff targets in the event of an engine failure en route. However, all three main engines continue to function perfectly.
Endeavour Houston, press to MECO.
Endeavour, roger, press to MECO.
Endeavour, single engine ops 3, band Jewel.
Endeavour, roger, single engine up 3, band Jewel.
5 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight, Endeavour still flying a true course toward orbit. At the time of main engine cutoff, Endeavour will be placed into an elliptical orbit, which will eventually be
Endeavour,
circularized.
single engine band Jewel, 104.
Endeavour, roger.
6 minutes into the flight. Endeavour almost 370,000 feet in altitude, 321 miles downrange, draining a half a ton of fuel per second from its large external fuel tank through the three liquid fuel main engines.
Endeavour, single engine press, 109.
That call from spacecraft communicator Eileen Collins indicating that if two main engines were to fail, Endeavour could still make normal main engine cutoff targets on the singular power of the remaining main engine. However, all three main engines continue to function normally. Coming up on the 7-minute mark into the flight, 90 seconds of powered flight left for Endeavour. Endeavour now 470 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 356,000 feet in altitude, traveling at almost 20,000 feet per second. Seven minutes, 45 seconds into the flight, Endeavour's main engines are once again being throttled back to limit the stress on the shuttle and its 5 astronauts to that of 3 times gravity. Endeavour currently traveling at a speed of more than 4 miles a second. Passing the 8-minute mark into the flight, Endeavour 640 miles downrange. Standing by for main engine cutoff at the 8-minute, 33-second mark. Booster officer confirms a normal main engine cutoff. Endeavour now in its preliminary orbit to begin its 9th mission and the 71st in shuttle program history. And confirmation now received of the separation of Endeavour's external tank. So a normal flight to orbit this morning for the shuttle Endeavour.
Endeavour Houston, we show a 7 foot per second underspeed. OMS 1 is not required.
Okay, we can clear. Sit down for in space.
Roger, Houston copies.
That reference by Commander Dave Walker to the nickname of the crew called the Dog Crew. You'll be hearing that reference often during the flight. With its normal ascent following its on-time launch, Endeavour has been placed into a temporarily elliptical orbit of 197 nautical miles by 35 nautical miles. That will be circularized about 33 minutes from now with the firing of the orbital maneuvering system engines to place Endeavour into a 201 by 200 nautical mile orbit for the start of its on-orbit operations.
Endeavour Houston, we'd like you to hold off on APU shutdown while we watch the data.
Okay, Eileen, and the dump just completed.
Copy that, and stand by for our call. Endeavour Houston, you are go for APU hydraulic shutdown, and you are go for the DTO.
Roger, the shutdown in the correct order.
This is Mission Control Houston, 14 minutes into the flight of Endeavour on the STS-69 mission, with all of Endeavour systems functioning normally following a flawless ascent this morning based on an on-time launch. The astronauts are into their post-insertion activities, preparing for the opening of the cargo bay doors. That will occur about an hour and 10 minutes from now after they complete their first revolution of the Earth. In the meantime, Payload Commander Jim Voss has broken out a camera on the flight deck to take pictures of the external tank as it falls away from Endeavour following its separation. Voss and his crewmates, Commander Dave Walker, pilot Ken Cockrell, flight engineer Jim Newman, and mission specialist Mike Gernhard will be removing their launch and entry suits after they get a go for orbit operations following the opening of the payload bay doors. In the meantime, we'll be returning momentarily to the Kennedy Space Center for a series of launch replays from this morning's ascent to kick off an 11-day mission for Endeavour, a dual satellite deployment and retrieval mission, one which will culminate with a 6-hour spacewalk by Voss and Gernhard on the 10th day of the mission, 2 days before landing. The mechanical systems officer here in Mission Control reports that all 3 hydraulic power units have now been shut down. One of those will be reactivated the day before landing for the standard test of the shuttle's aerosurfaces and flight control systems in the day before landing checkout, which is routine to all shuttle missions.
Endeavour Houston, we like your onboard targets. You are go to load.
Thank you, Eileen. We're loading them.
Endeavour Houston, we show a good OHMS 2 solution in pass and BFS.
Roger that. Thank you, ma'am. Houston Endeavour MBS power down isolation is complete, and GH2 inerting is in work. Houston Endeavour ET umbilical door closure is in work. Houston Endeavour in the blind. We're going to go ahead and close it.
Endeavour Houston, we heard the first half of your call. Please repeat. Endeavour Houston, UHF, you are go for ET door closure.
Okay, yes.
Endeavour Houston, when you get a chance, we're ready to listen to your debris report.
Houston Endeavour.
Go ahead, Endeavour.
Okay, debris report. It looked fairly low like this. With respect to smudging the windows, we have, I would call 20% or so of the windows smudged on the window 3. About half window 4. There is the usual thin cloud of stuff, which is obvious as the sun reflects on it. On both windows, about the same amount. My window just took a few more splotches than Cujo's did. I think they're both usable.
Endeavour, we copy your debris report. Thank you. Just have a reminder, before you draw any water from the galley, we have a procedure that we'd like you to run.
Okay, we're familiar, and we'll be aware of that.
Houston copies. Endeavour Houston, for the mid-deck, I've got a procedure from ECOM on the galley activation when someone's ready to copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. At a mission elapsed time of 34 minutes into the flight of Endeavour, Commander Dave Walker and pilot Ken Cockrell aboard the orbiter, currently maneuvering Endeavour into the proper attitude and orientation for the firing of the orbital maneuvering system engine 7.5 minutes from now. That will circularize Endeavour into its permanent orbit of about 200 nautical miles, a circular orbit from which it will begin orbital operations, including tomorrow's scheduled deployment of the Spartan Solar Science Satellite. That would complete the first objective of the mission. Spartan will be sent into a 48-hour free flight as mission specialist Mike Gernhardt uses the shuttle's robot arm to first grapple Spartan and then release it. Spartan will be measuring for the 48 hours of its free flight the properties of the solar corona, the outer atmosphere of the sun, and the solar wind projected from...
And Houston, we're ready for the mid-deck steps.
Okay, Endeavour, the flight note on the galley is, after Block 13 in the post-insertion checklist, to purge the galley system, we would like you to fill 3 8-ounce drink containers with cold water, then fill 3 8-ounce drink containers with hot water. Then you can dispose of the water in either the WCS or stow the containers in the wet trash at your discretion.
Okay, after step 14 post-insertion, 3 hot, 3 cold, dispose.
That's a good copy, except for after Block 13, you can do the purge.
Okay, we copy all after step 13 for the purge.
Roger.
Again, Endeavour being maneuvered into a position for the firing of the orbital maneuvering system engines. Again, Endeavour now being maneuvered into position for the firing of the orbital maneuvering system engines less than 5.5 minutes from now to circularize Endeavour's orbit. It will be in a 200 nautical mile high orbit from which the Spartan Solar Science Satellite will be released by mission specialist Mike Gernhardt tomorrow using the shuttle's robot arm. Spartan will spend 48 hours in free flight exploring the mysteries of the solar corona and the solar wind, the stream of particles from Earth's nearest star, which affects global communications here on Earth. Following the release of Spartan, Endeavour's altitude will be raised even further through a subsequent firing of the orbital maneuvering system engines for the deployment on Flight Day 5 of the Wake Shield facility, the saucer-shaped satellite, which is housed in Endeavour's cargo bay. The Wake Shield will be also cast apart from Endeavour for 48 hours or so to begin the process of epitaxy, which is the atom-by-atom, layer-by-layer growth of thin films to see how well those films can be grown in the pristine vacuum of space in a so-called wake that is created behind the dish-shaped satellite as it plows through atomic oxygen in low Earth orbit. The theory is that the wake shield creates a wake behind it, much like a boat does in water, and within that wake is a much more pristine environment in which to grow gallium arsenide crystals and other thin film compounds that can be used in semiconductors and other high-tech electronic equipment. But the first order of business, less than 4 minutes from now, is the circularization of Endeavour's orbit into its permanent orbit of 200 nautical miles. Endeavour now crossing in a northwest to southeast trajectory near the southeast coast of Africa, about to cross over Madagascar. We'll be losing signal from the orbiter about 5.5 minutes from now as it enters the so-called zone of exclusion, the handover between the tracking and data relay satellites on the TDRS system of global communications that orbiters use during every shuttle mission. Coming up in about 13 minutes, we'll be returning to the Kennedy Space Center for the post-launch news conference. The participants expected to include Lauren Shriver, the manager for launch integration for NASA down at the Kennedy Space Center, and launch director Jim Harrington. About 45 minutes from now, the astronauts will cross the first major milestone of the mission through the opening of the cargo bay doors, exposing the Spartan satellite and the wake shield facility, as well as the other hardware collected in Endeavour's cargo bay, to the environment of space for the first time. At the 2-hour, 30-minute mark into the flight at about 12:40 this afternoon Central Time, payload commander Jim Voss will deploy the shuttle's KU-band communications antenna. Pilot Ken Cockrell will activate some of the secondary experiments down in the shuttle's middeck. And about 4 hours into the flight, or just after 2 p.m. Central Time, mission specialists Jim Newman and Mike Gernhardt will begin the checkout of Endeavour's robot arm, as payload commander Jim Voss spends the same time frame activating a series of getaway special canisters which are housed in the rear of the shuttle's cargo bay.
Houston Endeavour, we're about 40 seconds from OMS 2, and everything looks good to us.
Endeavour, you are a go for the burn.
This is Mission Control standing by for the firing of the orbital maneuvering system engines to place Endeavour into its permanent orbit, a circular orbit 200 nautical miles above the Earth.
Endeavour Houston, we're calling in the blind. You are a go for the OMS 2 burn. We are approximately 2 minutes from LOS, and we'll pick you up on the other side in about 7 minutes.
Propulsion officer reports a good burn of the orbital maneuvering system engines, and the guidance and navigation officer reports good control of the orbiter as Endeavour climbs to a circular orbit 200 nautical miles above the Earth. Again, this is Mission Control Houston. Endeavour in the process of climbing to a circular orbit 200 nautical miles above the Earth. The firing of the orbital maneuvering system engines underway. Coming up at the top of the hour at noon Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Central Time, will be the post-launch news conference from the Kennedy Space Center. Lauren Shriver, the manager for launch integration for NASA, and launch director Jim Harrington will discuss the events which preceded the on-time launch of Endeavour and its flawless climb to orbit this morning. That launch occurring about 44 minutes ago. The astronauts will be preparing now for the opening of the payload bay doors and should be receiving after that a go for orbital operations and the start of their 11-day mission. Again, just after 2 p.m. Central Time this afternoon, mission specialists Jim Newman and Mike Gernhardt will be checking out Endeavour's robot arm, uncradling it from the cargo bay. That arm will be a busy piece of machinery during the course of this mission. It'll be used to deploy and retrieve the Spartan Solar Science satellite and the wake shield facility, as well as to be used as a form of cherry picker to move astronauts Jim Voss and Mike Gernhardt around during their planned 6-hour spacewalk. That spacewalk is now scheduled to occur on September 16th. That would be 2 days before landing. Once the robot arm is unfurled and has had an opportunity to be checked out by Newman and Gernhardt at the aft flight deck of Endeavour, they will maneuver the arm around to survey the payload bay and the various cargo elements housed in the bay. Before that arm will be powered down, it'll be reactivated tomorrow morning by Gernhardt. He is the prime robot arm operator for the deployment of the Spartan Science satellite. That pretty much highlights the major activity for the crew for the rest of the day. Their first 8-hour sleep period is scheduled to begin just after 6 p.m. Central Time. The crew will be awakened for their first full day of orbital operations tomorrow morning at 2:09 a.m. Central Time. Later this afternoon at 1:30 Central Time, the first mission update program of the STS-69 mission will be aired here at the Johnson Space Center on NASA television to review all of the events associated with this morning's countdown and launch of Endeavour and the first hours of the mission. Again, to recap, the countdown proceeded virtually by the book throughout the morning at the Kennedy Space Center. Launch was on time at 10:09 a.m. Central Time. It was a smooth and uneventful climb to orbit for Endeavour and its 5 astronauts, Commander Dave Walker, pilot Ken Cockrell, payload commander Jim Voss, flight engineer Jim Newman, and mission specialist Mike Gernhardt. Thus begins the 5th shuttle mission of the year and the 71st in shuttle program history, a multifaceted mission in which science will predominate most of the days of this flight. The first time that 2 satellites will have been deployed and retrieved during a single mission, and a flight that will be culminated by a 6-hour spacewalk by Voss and Gernhardt later on September 16th, in which they will evaluate thermal modifications made to the spacesuits that they will wear out in the harsh environment of the cargo bay, as well as the practicing of space station assembly techniques, very fine manipulation of wires, tools, and other implements that ultimately will be used in the assembly of the International Space Station in the next few years. Landing currently scheduled based on this morning's on-time launch. Landing is scheduled back at the Kennedy Space Center on Monday, September 18th at 6:38 a.m. Central Time. A reminder coming up in about 2.5 minutes, we'll be switching back to the Kennedy Space Center for the post-launch news conference. While that news conference is in progress, we likely will be in the process of opening the cargo bay doors, and we'll be reporting on that as soon as the news conference is completed. And at the Kennedy Space Center, Lauren Shriver, the Launch Integration Manager, and Jim Harrington, the Launch Director, are making their way to the press site at the Kennedy Space Center. That news conference will begin just minutes from now.
Houston, Endeavour.
That news conference will begin at the Kennedy Space Center just minutes from now as soon as Shriver and Harrington are in place.
Houston, Endeavour, we got you on the west satellite.
Okay, Houston, Endeavour, we hear you. We had a good OMS 2.
Endeavour, Houston, copy. You got a good OMS 2 burn, and did you do the TBC gimbal check?
Yes, ma'am, we sure did.
Houston copies.
The TVC gimbal check reported by Commander Dave Walker in his conversation with spacecraft communicator Eileen Collins refers to the thrust vector control checkout of the...
Endeavour, Houston, you are go for the nominal post-insertion procedures, and we'll be using dual G2.
The TVC check is always conducted to the orbital maneuvering system engines following their firing. In this case, the OMS 2 burn, or orbital maneuvering system number 2 burn, used to circularize Endeavour's orbit into a circular orbit of about 200 nautical miles above the Earth. At that point, the astronauts will put forth into work over the next few minutes the opening of the payload bay doors. That's expected about 30 minutes from now, as they complete their first revolution of the Earth. The astronauts, once having accomplished that, will be given a go for orbital operations by Flight Director Wayne Hale, and will climb out of their launch and entry suits to begin moving into the transition from the ascent timeline and the post-insertion checklist into the rest of their flight plan for this 11-day mission.
Houston, Endeavor, radio check.
Endeavor, Houston, go ahead.
Okay, your last transmission was cut off in the middle and we hadn't heard. We were just double checking. We're starting into the post-insertion stuff now.
Roger, Endeavor, that's what our call was. Your go for the nominal post-insertion with dual G2 config.
Okay, understand nominal. We're headed in. Houston, Endeavor.
Go ahead, Endeavor.
Yeah, in trying to take GPC-3 to standby, I think I inadvertently took it to a halt. The detent's pretty difficult to feel, and it has failed, so I think that's what happened.
Copy, Endeavor, and we'll take a look at it.
It is in run with a talkback run now, but it has all its fail cam lights lit.
Copy, Endeavor, and we know that you would have gotten those lights even if you had gone to standby, so you're just go to proceed from this point on.
Okay. Houston, Endeavor, we're going down.
Endeavor, Houston, could you repeat? Endeavor, Houston, for the middeck.
Hang on 1 second, Houston.
Roger, Houston, standing by.
Houston, Endeavor, Eileen, go ahead. We'll copy it down up here, and it'll give us a chance to see if they're hearing you downstairs.
Okay, Endeavor, thank you. We are showing that water tank Bravo will be depleted shortly, and because of that, we need to have you work the second step in Block 2, that's page 1-19 of post-insertion, and that is to pressurize the water tank A. That's step 2, and if you'd like, we can read those steps up to you.
Okay, we understand to do the second step. Second step in Block 2, Eileen, I think you're saying, which is to pressurize water tank A, and we'll go ahead and do that, and we can do it from here.
Copy, Endeavor, thank you.
And that is in work as we speak. Houston, Endeavor, we have done the pressurization steps for supply water tank Alpha.
Copy, Endeavor, thank you. And when you're ready, I have a step to delete out of the post-insertion checklist on page 11.
Go ahead, Eileen, with the step on page 11.
At approximately 1 hour and 36 minutes, we would like you to delete the step UHF mode to off. We'd like you to leave the UHF on because we're occasionally dropping out our S-band data, and we're going to keep up Dryden and Mila through this next rev.
Okay, I understand. We'll leave the UHF on.
Endeavor, Houston, we copy. Endeavor, Houston, you are go to maneuver to the payload bay door opening attitude. Endeavor, Houston, we've got a plan for you on your comm when you're ready.
Okay, Eileen, we weren't hearing you for just a minute there. Go ahead.
Roger, this is for your information only. We will be picking up Dryden UHF at an MET of 1 hour and 28 minutes. After that, INCO will command over to preamp 1, and this is just to get better performance on our comm. If there's any problems in that, the STC is set up to switch back at 1 hour and 34 minutes.
Okay, we copy that. And something for you, our mid-deck comm is configured, but we are not hearing anything over it. We'll take a look at it later on after post-insertion. And we have also tried to activate the CO2 removal system, and we did not get an operate light. And we did not turn the instrumentation on. We stopped after failing to get the operate light.
Okay, Houston, we copy you on your mid-deck comm and also on the CO2 removal. You did not get an operate light, and we'll take a look at it.
That's correct, and we're sure we followed the procedure correctly. 2 of us were doing it, and then we repeated it 1 time just to make sure.
Copy, Endeavor. Thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston at a mission elapsed time of 1 hour 25 minutes into the flight of Endeavour. The orbiter and its 5 astronauts are traveling in a southwest to northeasterly trajectory over the Pacific Ocean, completing the first orbit of this mission. It has been a busy post-insertion time frame for the 5 astronauts on board as they activate Endeavour systems in preparation for what will be a busy and active 11 days on orbit. The prime objectives of the mission: the deployment of a Spartan solar science satellite tomorrow, its retrieval 2 days later after 48 hours of free flight science. Then the subsequent deployment and retrieval of the wake shield facility, in which thin films of gallium arsenide and other compounds will be grown in an engineering test to see how well those materials can grow in a more pristine atmosphere of weightlessness than they can be on Earth for semiconductor use. Aboard the orbiter, the systems are in good shape, the cabin pressure holding at a steady 14.7 pounds per square inch. All of the power-producing fuel cells aboard Endeavour functioning normally, generating the requisite amount of electricity for the orbiter as Endeavour travels in a circular orbit of 200 nautical miles above the Earth. Commander Dave Walker and pilot Ken Cockrell have maneuvered Endeavour into the attitude for the opening of the payload bay doors, which should be getting underway just a moment or 2 from now. Payload Commander Jim Voss reported to spacecraft communicator Eileen Collins a few moments ago that 2 issues which have cropped up that the crew on board are working involves the operation of the carbon dioxide removal system aboard Endeavour. There are canisters of lithium hydroxide that are carried on board that are used as air purifiers, canisters which can be changed out frequently during the course of the mission. However, the carbon removal system to purify the air for breathing aboard Endeavour for the course of its 11-day mission is the primary source of that air scrubbing capability. And that carbon dioxide removal system did not activate as planned. However, it is believed that Payload Commander Jim Voss will be able to run several procedures over the next few minutes which should activate that system. In addition, a simple configuration management issue cropped up in being able to hear communications through the speakers down on the mid-deck of Endeavour. Voss said that he thought he had run the procedure correctly, could not hear any communications. However, there has not been a lot spoken back and forth between Mission Control and the astronauts to this point, as communications is still being worked between the Mission Control Center and the orbiter in preparation for the opening of the payload bay doors and the subsequent operations on orbit by the 5 astronauts. In summary, the orbiter is in good shape. It was reported at the end of the post-launch news conference, and we'll reiterate it here, that the earlier report of a 7 foot per second underspeed in the velocity used to propel Endeavour towards orbit at the time of main engine cutoff almost an hour and a half ago, that 7 foot per second underspeed was revised down to 2 feet per second, which is virtually unnoticeable and insignificant in the eyes of the flight control team here in Houston. So the bottom line is Endeavour had a normal climb to orbit, a normal main engine cutoff. The early indications are that the first stage performance of the solid rocket boosters was normal. That performance did provide the necessary thrust on the first stage for the first 2 minutes and 5 seconds of the flight, after which the main engines took over and using their liquid fuel power then propelled Endeavour to a normal orbit, which was circularized by a firing of the orbital maneuvering system engines some 42 minutes after launch, or 34 minutes after main engine cutoff. Once the payload bay doors are opened, Flight Director Wayne Hill will pull his flight control team here in Mission Control before giving a go for orbital operations. Once that's received by the crew aboard Endeavour, the 5 astronauts will get out of their launch and entry suits and begin to step into their on-orbit procedures for the rest of this first day of this 11-day mission. The day will be highlighted by the activation of several secondary experiments, the checkout of the communication system on the dish or saucer-shaped wake shield facility which sits in Endeavour's cargo bay, and then Jim Newman and Mike Gernhardt, 2 mission specialists in charge of robot arm activities during the course of the mission, will activate the Canadian-built remote manipulator system. They will uncradle the robot arm from the cargo bay, unfurl it, and check out its systems before conducting a survey with the cameras on the wrist and elbow of the remote manipulator system to verify its performance before it is used by Gernhardt tomorrow to grapple and deploy the Spartan Solar Science satellite. Currently, the crew is scheduled to begin its first 8-hour sleep period on orbit at 6:09 p.m. Central Time. They'll get their first wake-up call. The astronauts will on orbit tomorrow morning for mission control at 2:09 a.m. Central Time. Once the ascent team has given the crew a go for orbital operations and the crew begins to get out of its launch and entry suits, there will be a handover between the ascent team of flight controllers and the Orbit 2 team of flight controllers. The Orbit 2 team is currently sitting on console in the new Mission Control Center called the White Flight Control Room down the hall from this particular control center, which will remain the operating control center for launches and landings of the space shuttle until the STS-69 mission next February. So the transition between flight control teams from the ascent team to the Orbit 2 team will be made between 2 control centers, and the rest of the on-orbit phase of this mission will be conducted out of the new control center down the hall from here.
Endeavour Houston, com check.
Houston Endeavour, loud and clear.
Endeavour Houston, loud and clear, and we switched preamps.
Okay, thank you. And we're just waiting for a go for opening the doors.
Endeavour Houston, could you say again?
Okay, we're in the maneuver to the payload bay door opening attitude and waiting a go for opening the doors.
Roger, Endeavour, we'll get that to you shortly.
Okay, are we getting a...
Endeavour Houston, in the blind, your last half transmission dropped out.
Okay, Eileen, the comm looks a little ratty to us here from a signal strength standpoint. How do you hear me now?
Okay, I got you loud and clear, and you are go for payload bay door opening when in attitude. Endeavour Houston, com check on UHF. How copy? Endeavour Houston, apparently we have a good forward link to you. We are not hearing all of your calls to us. We'd like you to verify that your UHF is set up and you are transmitting to us UHF.
Houston Endeavour, how do you hear us now?
Houston hears you, Endeavour, but you have about a half-second echo.
Yeah, we have a very significant echo from you as well, Eileen.
Roger, copy. Endeavour Houston, you are go for payload bay door opening at this time. We show that we're close enough to our attitude to start.
Endeavour, roger. Go for payload bay door opening. It's in work.
And with that acknowledgement by Commander Dave Walker aboard Endeavour, the clamshell cargo bay doors on the orbiter will swing open and will remain open for the remainder of this 11-day mission, exposing the payloads to space and signaling the start of on-orbit operations for the crew. Ascent Flight Director Wayne Hale will pull his flight controllers here in Mission Control before giving the astronauts a go for orbital operations. That will be followed by their climbing out of their launch and entry suits, getting more comfortable. They'll be getting a bite to eat as they begin to activate secondary experiments. Jim Newman and Mike Gernhardt, two of the mission specialists on board. Newman embarking on his second flight into space. Gernhardt, the only space rookie on the crew. They'll be checking out the communication systems on the wake shield facility in the shuttle's cargo bay, while Ken Cockrell, the pilot, also embarking on his second flight into space, begins to activate secondary experiments on the orbiter. Later this afternoon, about 3.5 hours from now, Jim Newman and Mike Gernhardt will begin to check out Endeavour's robot arm, unfurling it from its cradle along the longeron of the cargo bay. They'll check out the systems from a control panel at the aft flight deck of Endeavour. Once the robot arm has been declared ready for use for the remainder of the flight, it will be powered down for the day, only to be reactivated tomorrow by Gernhardt in support of the grappling and deployment of the Spartan science satellite.
Endeavour Houston, we are 2 minutes to a handover to Tidris East.
Endeavour, roger.
Are we carrying on board? This is Mission Control Houston as Endeavour sails over the island of Hispaniola, beginning its second orbit of this 11-day mission. The payload bay doors have now been confirmed open and locked in place by the Mechanical Systems Officer as Ascent Flight Director Wayne Hale now pulls his flight controllers here in Mission Control to get a go for the start of orbital operations. All of Endeavour systems in good shape, cabin pressure normal, all electrical systems working in good shape, following an on-time launch and a successful and smooth ascent to orbit about an hour and 45 minutes ago by the shuttle Endeavour and its 5 astronauts.
Endeavour Houston, you have a go for orbit ops.
Roger, go for orbit ops, Eileen. Thanks.
And Endeavour, when you have somebody ready, we have some circuit breakers we'd like you to check on panel ML86 Bravo, and that'll be for the RCRS.
Okay, we're ready to copy.
Endeavour, on panel ML86 Bravo, we'd like you to check row Echo. All the circuit breakers for the CO2 removal system should be in, and could you report on the status?
That's in work. CO2 system 1 was not in.
Okay, we copy. CO2 system 1 was not in, and we'll have ECOM evaluate.
Okay, and just FYI, it did get pushed in, and we're checking our checklist now.
Copy, Endeavour. Endeavour Houston, when you get a chance, we also would like you to specifically let us know what the CO2 common instrumentation circuit breaker status is.
Okay, Eileen, the CO2 system 1 controller circuit breaker was out, and that was reset. And I'm sure that we pushed that one in, but it may have popped, or we may not have gotten it all the way in when we first pushed it in. It's in now, and the operate light is on. Correction, that's the fail light that's on, Eileen. We're working from the flight deck. It isn't working, so we're relaying communications. So right now the fail light's on, but we probably need to go back and reactivate it.
Okay, we copy that you reset the CO2 System 1 circuit breaker and the fail light is still on. And you have the status on the CO2 common instrumentation circuit breaker.
Okay, stand by.
This discussion ongoing between spacecraft communicator Eileen Collins, first talking to mission specialist Jim Newman, now payload commander Jim Voss, as they run through a set of procedures to reactivate the regenerative carbon removal system, the RCRS, or carbon dioxide removal system.
And Houston, we believe we had a nominal payload bay door open.
Endeavour Houston, we concur.
It is believed that the CO2 removal system did not activate initially because of a popped circuit breaker, and procedures are underway, a set of steps being taken by Jim Newman and Jim Voss to push that circuit breaker back in, make sure it remains in, and reconfigure the electrical systems governing that piece of equipment. The astronauts carry about 5 days' worth of lithium hydroxide canisters on the orbiter for air scrubbing purposes to augment the usual operation of this carbon removal system. It is a redundant system.
Endeavour.
Go ahead, Endeavour.
Eileen, the CO2 common instrumentation circuit breaker was in on ML86 Bravo.
Copy, Endeavour. Thank you.
Do you want us just to stand by until you're ready for us to reactivate the system?
Endeavour, you are go to proceed with the nominal reactivation procedure. Endeavour Houston.
Go for Endeavour.
We've got some actions on your mid-deck comm problem. When somebody's ready on panel R14, what we have is just a circuit breaker we'd like you to check for us when you're ready.
Go for R14.
Understand you're ready on R14. What we'd like is just a status on row alpha, and the circuit breaker is called Main Bravo Audio Mid-Deck Speaker, and we'd just like to know if it is in or out.
It's out.
Okay, we'd like you not to reset it at this time, and INCO will evaluate.
We copy.
And Endeavour also, Houston is requesting when you noticed that the mid-deck comm was not working, at the soonest point you noticed it was not working.
Eileen, that speaker was working up until the time that you gave the mid-deck switches to Underdog, and after we heard those, then we did not hear any more from the mid-deck speaker soon after that.
Copy, Endeavour. Thank you.
And we have not used handheld microphone number 1020. It's still stowed.
Copy, Endeavour. Thank you. Endeavour Houston, you are go for config for vernier control at your convenience.
Vernier control. Thank you.
Houston Endeavour, we have an action on panel L1 when you're ready.
We're ready.
Endeavour, we'd like you to take the FES Pry A switch to off and then back to on. We just want to check out a thermal transient.
Okay, you were broken. Could you say again, please?
Endeavour, on panel L1, we would like you to take the FES Pry A switch to off, then on. And this is to check out a thermal transient.
FES Pry A coming off. Mark?
Back to on, complete.
Endeavour Houston, at your convenience, we have actions on the CO2 removal system.
We're ready to copy.
Roger, Jim, on page 1-19 of the post-insertion checklist, we'd like you to run in the second column, the CO2 removal system activation.
Okay, page 119, second column, activation.
This is Mission Control Houston at a mission elapsed time of 2 hours and 5 minutes into the flight of Endeavour on the STS-69 mission. To recap this morning's events, the astronauts enjoyed an on-time liftoff from the Kennedy Space Center at 10:09 a.m. Central Time, a smooth and uneventful climb to orbit for the orbiter, placing it in an elliptical orbit, which was then circularized at the 42-minute mark into the flight by a firing of the orbital maneuvering system engines. Currently, the circular orbit that Endeavour is currently flying in is 200 nautical miles above the Earth, placing it in the proper altitude for the deployment tomorrow of the Spartan Solar Science Satellite, the first major objective of this multifaceted 11-day mission. The astronauts have been busy for the first couple of hours of the flight. They opened the cargo bay doors about 35 minutes ago, got a go for orbital operations from Ascent Flight Director Wayne Hale, and have since been attempting to reactivate a carbon dioxide removal system. It's called the RCRS, or Regenerative Carbon Removal System. This is an automatic air scrubbing system aboard the orbiter, which is augmented, if need be, by a series of lithium hydroxide canisters that every shuttle crew carries on orbit, just in case the...
Houston Endeavour. Eileen, good news. The CO2 removal system's working properly now. I expect that probably we just didn't get that circuit breaker all the way in the first time.
Roger, Endeavour, that's great news. Thank you.
Now, if you can just figure out our mid-deck comm, we'll be real happy up here.
Roger, Endeavour, we're working on it.
And as reported by Payload Commander Jim Voss to Spacecraft Communicator Eileen Collins, the temporary problem with the activation of the carbon dioxide removal system now a part of history. A series of circuit breakers were pushed back in on a panel on the flight deck of Endeavour, and as a result, the reactivation of that automatic air scrubbing system, the air purification system aboard Endeavour, has proved successful. So that issue is now put to bed. And Voss reported that the only thing left is for the communication system down on the middeck of Endeavour to be activated. The astronauts can hear just fine up on the flight deck, but so far are not able to hear communications from Mission Control in the voice and speaker system down on the middeck. However, the integrated communications officer here in Mission Control is working on a set of procedures for that temporary problem, which it is hoped will clear up the problem and provide communications both on the flight deck and the middeck in a short period of time. All of Endeavour's other systems are functioning normally, the cabin pressure holding steady at 14.7 pounds per square inch, 3 good electrically producing fuel cells, the power-producing fuel cells up and running in good shape. All of Endeavour's other systems working by the book with the payload bay doors open. The Ascent team of flight controllers about to hand over to the Orbit 2 team of flight controllers. Flight Director John Shannon, one of the new cadre of flight controllers here in Mission Control, will be taking over the first shift of orbital operations from the new Mission Control Center down the hall. About 20 minutes from now, Jim Voss will be deploying the KU-band communications antenna on Endeavour at the same time that pilot Ken Cockrell begins to activate several secondary experiments on the orbiter. Jim Newman and Mike Gernhardt will at the same time be checking out communication systems on the Wake Shield facility, which is housed in a cradle in Endeavour's cargo bay. Once the initial checkout of the Wake Shield facility's carrier system or radio frequency system is accomplished by Jim Newman and Mike Gernhardt, Those two will then set out.
Endeavour Houston, when you have a few spare minutes, I have a procedure that I'd like to read to you for approximately 2+30 in the flight plan on SM checkpoint initiate.
Again, one of the last major pieces of business on the astronauts' agenda for the day will be the activation and checkout of the shuttle's robot arm by Newman and Gernhardt later this afternoon. That's expected around 2 hours from now at the 4-hour mark into the mission. The Canadian-built arm will be...
Eileen, ready to copy for 2 hours, 30 minutes on page 33.
Okay, Jim, this flight note is to be implemented after post-insertion at approximately 2 hours and 30 minutes. And I'll give you the rationale first. The water loop 1 GPC cycle will be changed from 50 hours to every 4 hours. And this will be a 5-step procedure.
Okay, Eileen, a copy of the water loop cycle procedure to every 4 hours instead of every 50. And you said it was a side-step procedure? I didn't copy the last.
Endeavour, for your information, the reason we're doing this is to preclude any chance of freezing up the water loop. And what we're going to have you do first is the checkpoint initiate procedure in the orbit ops checklist. And then after that, we've got the 5 steps. And let me know when you're ready to copy that.
Ready to copy the 5 steps.
Okay, step 1, CRTX, SM Ops 000 Pro. Step 2, SM Ops 201 Pro. Then pull up a SM1 spec DIPS utility. On that spec, step 3, checkpoint, retrieve, enable, item 12, execute. Step 4, uplink, control, auto, item 35, execute. Then pull up spec SM62, Puckamoo payload com, and execute step 5, which is PSP number 1, IO reset, with an item 6 execute. How copy?
Okay, Eileen, we've got step 1, CRTX SM Ops 000 Pro. Step 2, SM Ops 201 Pro. For step 3, pull up SM1 DIPS utility, checkpoint item 12. Step 4, uplink control auto, item 35. Step 5 on SM62, PSP 1-hour reset, item 6.
That's a good copy, Endeavour, and we'd like to reiterate that those 5 steps need to be done after the checkpoint initiate is complete.
Roger that, after SM checkpoint.
This is Mission Control, that conversation between spacecraft communicator Eileen Collins and mission specialist Jim Newman aboard Endeavour, involving the reconfiguration of several systems associated with the data processing on board Endeavour. No problems associated with that system, just a simple reconfiguration of some of the software on board. In the meantime, to reiterate, the astronauts stepping through a busy first couple of hours on orbit, having successfully activated the carbon dioxide removal system aboard the orbiter. The orbiter systems are in good shape in support of the first hours of this planned 11-day mission. Endeavour currently on its second revolution of the Earth, passing over South Africa, about to pass south of Madagascar. The Orbit 2 team of flight controllers under the direction of Flight Director John Shannon are now in the new control center down the hall from this